We all face distractions every day. Whether it's the constant buzz of your phone, the noise around you, or the overwhelming pressure of a to-do list that never seems to end, distractions are everywhere. They pull your attention away from what truly matters and keep you from reaching your full potential. But here's the truth. The ability to focus is the single most important skill you can develop if you want to create the life you truly desire. Without focus, you're like a ship without a rudder, drifting from one task to the next, never making real progress. The good news, you can change that. You have the power to train yourself to tune out the noise and start living with intention. In today's audiobook, I'm going to show you how to eliminate distractions and focus on what really matters. I'm going to give you practical steps, actionable insights, and motivational guidance that will help you stay on track, build daily discipline, and create lasting success. Imagine being able to move through your day with purpose, staying on task no matter what comes your way. Picture yourself achieving your goals, one step at a time, because you know how to block out everything that doesn't serve you. If that's the kind of life you want, then you need to keep watching, because we're about to dive deep into the power of focus. So if you're ready to take control of your time, your energy, and your future, let's get started. Chapter 1. Take control of your habits to shape your destiny. Every day begins with a simple truth. You are either reinforcing the habits that shape the life you want, or you are falling into the ones that slowly pull you away from it. The direction of your life does not shift overnight. It bends, day by day, according to the small, repeated actions you choose. The power to shape your destiny is not a dramatic moment of decision. It is the ability to gain control over your habits and to master them with clarity, discipline, and relentless purpose. Most people think of habits as harmless routines, like brushing teeth or scrolling on a phone. But habits are much more than behaviors. They are the systems that quietly build your future. Good or bad, they decide who you become. If you allow your habits to form without intention, you give up your ability to shape your own path. But when you take control of your habits, you take control of your life. Nothing is more powerful than that. Everything you are right now is a reflection of the habits you've followed, how you think, how you speak, how you spend your time, how you respond to stress, how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. Your confidence, discipline, energy, and results all come from consistent patterns of behavior. If you are unhappy with where your life is headed, look at your habits before anything else. The truth is, most people wait for motivation to show up before they act. But motivation fades quickly. It's unreliable. It's often missing when you need it most. What carries you forward is not how you feel in the moment. It's what you've trained yourself to do, whether you feel like it or not. This is the essence of a habit. It's the choice you automate. It's action without hesitation. It's discipline practiced so often, it becomes part of who you are. You don't need more inspiration. You need structure. You need to define the kind of person you want to become and build your days around habits that bring that version of you to life. And that doesn't begin with big changes. It starts small. It starts with simple daily decisions. The things you do without thinking are the ones creating your future. Most people think they need to make drastic changes to transform. They don't. They just need to start doing the small things right, every day, and protect those actions with everything they have. If you wake up late, check your phone first thing, skip exercise, procrastinate, eat poorly, and spend hours consuming useless content, you are not unlucky. You are undisciplined. But if you build the habit of waking up early, planning your day, moving your body, taking action immediately, eating to fuel your mind, and surrounding yourself with clarity, You are no longer a product of the environment. You are now shaping it. The key is to stop relying on willpower. Willpower fades. Habits stay. You can't live your life trying to fight temptations every hour. You need to design your environment and routine in a way that supports the person you want to become. Your environment must help you. If your phone distracts you every 5 minutes, turn off all non-essential notifications or move it to another room while working. If junk food tempts you, remove it from your home and replace it with something healthy. If negativity surrounds you, distance yourself from it. You are not weak for struggling. You are human, but you are responsible for building systems that support your growth. Your future is not written in talent or luck. It's written in your daily patterns. That's why changing your habits is not about adding new things randomly. It's about being deliberate. You must know exactly what you need to do every day to get closer to your purpose. Focus on one habit at a time. Don't try to change everything at once. That leads to frustration and burnout. Pick one habit, commit to it fully for 30 days, and protect it with everything you have. Then build the next. Your habits are tied to your identity. If you constantly tell yourself that you're lazy or undisciplined or not a morning person, your brain will find ways to prove that true. But if you start to believe that you are someone who follows through, someone who shows up, someone who does what needs to be done no matter what, then your habits will start to align with that belief. And once your habits match your identity, consistency becomes effortless. Start by defining the version of yourself you want to grow into. Be clear. Be honest. What does that version of you do every day? How do they start their morning? What time do they sleep? How do they speak to themselves? How do they respond to pressure? How do they show up when nobody's watching? Then reverse engineer those actions into small, repeatable behaviors you can start doing now. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. That's why clarity matters. If you want to write a book, your habit must be to write daily. If you want to be in shape, your habit must be to exercise and eat clean consistently. If you want a clear mind, your habit must be to cut distractions and focus deeply. These are not just things you try when it's convenient. These are non-negotiables. You commit to them even when you're tired, stressed, bored or tempted. That is how growth happens. Not in moments of ease, but in the times when it would be easier to quit, and you don't. It will be hard at first. Your brain will resist. Your old patterns will try to pull you back. Comfort will try to win. That's normal, but every time you act against your old habits, you weaken them. Every time you repeat the new ones, you make them stronger. Over time, your brain adapts. What was once difficult becomes automatic. What was once unfamiliar becomes effortless. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Start small. Start with something you can control. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Spend 10 minutes each morning in silence or reflection. Write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Move your body, even if it's a short walk. Avoid your phone for the first hour of your day. Cut just 1 hour of mindless scrolling at night. Replace it with reading or planning for tomorrow. These seem small, but these are the things that create powerful momentum. One positive habit gives you the confidence to build another. Habits are a vote for the person you are becoming. Each time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you are capable of change. That builds trust in yourself. And self-trust is rare. It is the foundation of confidence. If you trust yourself to do what you say you'll do, you become unstoppable. But if you keep breaking promises to yourself, your confidence dies quietly. Make your habits so obvious and so simple that you can't ignore them. Use a calendar. Use reminders. Set alarms. Put your running shoes where you can see them. Leave your journal open on your desk. Make it easy to start. The hardest part is usually beginning. But once you do, momentum takes over. Protect your morning. Own your evening. These are the bookends of your day. If you win your mornings and take control of your nights, everything in between starts falling into place. Don't wait until you feel ready. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You need to begin to feel ready. Waiting for the perfect time is another habit, one that keeps you stuck. Start now. Take action now. Even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable. Discipline is not born from comfort. It's forged in discomfort. When you keep going despite the urge to quit, you build strength. That strength becomes part of who you are. This is how you take control of your life. Not through willpower, through systems, through clarity, through discipline, through tiny steps, repeated with intention. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of your habits, and your habits write the story of your future. So make each day count. Make each choice intentional, because every habit you choose is a step either toward the life you want or away from it. Take control now, not next week, not tomorrow. Now, choose your habits like your future depends on them, because it does. Your destiny is not hidden in the stars. It is built in your schedule. One small decision, one action, one new habit at a time. This is how you shape your destiny. This is how you build a life that reflects strength, clarity, and purpose. You're not just changing your behavior. You are becoming the person you were meant to be. And that starts today. Chapter 2. Build resilience by overcoming challenges without hesitation. If you keep running from challenges, you'll never find out how powerful you really are. Every single breakthrough you're waiting for is hiding behind something difficult. It's behind a wall of pain, fear, doubt, or failure. And the truth is, most people never get past that wall, not because they aren't capable, but because they hesitate. They flinch. They wait for things to get easier. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards resilience. It rewards the people who look difficulty in the eye and move anyway. If you want to build a life that commands respect, peace, and power, you must stop avoiding struggle and start mastering it. No one becomes strong by avoiding what makes them weak. No one becomes wise by skipping the lessons that come from pain. Every challenge that has ever knocked you down was an opportunity to rise stronger, but that only happens when you stop seeing hardship as punishment and start seeing it as a path. The people you admire most, the ones who walk into every room with quiet confidence and unshakable clarity, didn't get that way by living easy lives. They got it by going through hell and refusing to let it break them. You need to understand something. The challenge in front of you isn't the problem. It's your relationship with that challenge that determines everything. If you see struggle as something to avoid, you'll live your whole life playing small. But if you learn to face pain without hesitation, if you stop negotiating with discomfort, you'll become a version of yourself that nothing can touch. Resilience is not a gift. It's a decision, and it's made in the moment you decide not to back down. You will be tested. Life will throw things at you that you didn't ask for. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. The path will get harder than you expected. That's not a sign to stop. That's a signal that you're stepping into real growth. The struggle is not a mistake. It's part of the process. If you try to escape it, you escape the very experiences that are meant to forge your character. The challenge you're facing right now is not here to break you. It's here to show you what's still weak. And until you learn to lean into those moments, you'll never access the strength that's been buried inside you all along. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop freezing when fear shows up. You don't need to know how to solve every problem. You just need to stop waiting for the perfect conditions. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be relentless. Resilience is not about being the smartest or strongest. It's about being the one who refuses to quit. The one who feels the pressure, the pain, the exhaustion, and keeps moving anyway. The truth is, most people waste more energy avoiding discomfort than they would by just facing it. They stay stuck in their heads, replaying worst-case scenarios, delaying action, waiting for things to feel right. And in that hesitation, they lose momentum, clarity, and power. But once you stop negotiating with yourself, once you stop entertaining every excuse, you move faster. You move cleaner. You stop getting distracted by doubt and start living in alignment with purpose. There will always be a voice inside you that tells you to stay safe. That voice doesn't care about your potential. It cares about your comfort. It wants you to take the easy route. It wants you to keep repeating the same routine, the same mistakes, the same limits, because that's what feels familiar. But familiar is not the same as fulfilling. If you want to grow, you have to challenge that voice. You have to override it with action, because every time you push through resistance, you silence that voice a little more. Your brain is wired to seek comfort, but your soul is starving for challenge. You feel stuck not because your life is broken, but because your growth is dormant. You know you're capable of more, but knowing is not enough. You need to train your body and your mind to respond to resistance, like a signal to move, not a reason to stop. You have to stop waiting for motivation and start leaning on commitment. You don't get stronger by waiting. You get stronger by showing up, over and over, until the hard things start to feel normal. Every time you push yourself through something hard, you build more than just strength. You build identity. You start to see yourself differently. You stop seeing yourself as someone who cracks under pressure and start believing that you can handle anything. That shift in identity is everything. Because once you believe you're resilient, you start acting like it. And when you act like it long enough, you become it. That's how you create lasting change, not by reading about it, not by talking about it, but by living it. You've already survived things that felt impossible. You've already pushed through pain, confusion, heartbreak, and failure. But you forget that. You forget how much strength you've already shown just to be here today. That same strength is still in you. It didn't disappear. It just needs to be activated again. And the only way to access it is by stepping into the next challenge without hesitation. The next time something difficult shows up, don't overthink it. Don't stall. Don't wait for someone else to solve it. Step into it. Trust that you'll figure it out, because you will. You don't need to know how it all ends. You just need to move forward one step at a time. Momentum is built in movement. Courage is built in doing. Strength is built in repetition. There's a reason why the most successful people always talk about discipline, struggle, and failure. It's not because they're trying to sound wise. It's because they've lived it. They know that comfort is addictive, and success requires breaking through that addiction daily. If you want what they have, you have to be willing to do what most people won't. You have to choose the hard way when the easy path is right there. Not once, but every day. That's how real resilience is forged. Stop saying, "I can't handle this." Start saying, "This is where I grow." Stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" And start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Resilience isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's about choosing strength even when things are not. It's about taking full ownership of your response, no matter how heavy the situation feels. You don't get to choose what happens to you, but you always get to choose how you respond. When you develop the mindset that everything is figure-outable, everything changes. Suddenly setbacks become setups. Pain becomes fuel. Failure becomes feedback. You stop feeling like a victim and start living like a warrior. And that energy carries into every part of your life, your work, your relationships, your health, your purpose. You move with more power because you've trained yourself to rise, not retreat. You must make a decision today to stop running from the parts of life that feel unfair, uncomfortable, or unpredictable. Stop hoping things get easier and start becoming someone who thrives when they don't. That shift will change your life, because the truth is, you don't need everything to go your way. You just need to become someone who keeps going anyway. Start taking action when it's hardest. Start showing up when it's inconvenient. Start doing the thing you've been avoiding, not because it's fun but because you know it's necessary. Every time you do, you rewire your mind for strength. You train yourself to push through discomfort instead of crumbling beneath it. And over time that becomes your default. It won't be quick. It won't always be pretty. But it will be worth it. The moments you push through are the moments that define you. And once you've trained yourself to move through anything, you become dangerous in the best way possible. Not dangerous to others, but dangerous to excuses. Dangerous to your old limits. Dangerous to the voice in your head that says you'll never make it. And the best part, you inspire others to do the same. People see your strength. They feel your energy. They notice how you handle stress without falling apart, how you face fear without flinching, how you keep showing up no matter how many times life tries to knock you down. And that influence spreads. Your resilience becomes a ripple effect that changes not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop hesitating, stand up, face the challenge in front of you, and move. Because every second you wait is a second you could be growing. And every time you move, you prove to yourself that you are built for this. You were not made to break. You were made to rise. Again and again, until nothing can shake you. Until every challenge becomes fuel. Until resilience is no longer something you try to build, it's who you are. Unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable. Now is the time. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, build the resilience that will carry you through anything. Face the challenge, own it, and don't stop moving, ever, because your destiny depends on your ability to endure, and your future belongs to the version of you who refuses to back down. Chapter 3. Embrace discomfort to unlock your full potential. If you're not willing to embrace discomfort, you'll never tap into your true potential. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid pain, avoid struggle, avoid anything that makes them uncomfortable. But here's the hard truth. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Success is not a warm, cozy feeling. It's born in the fire of hardship. It's forged in the moments when you feel like giving up, but you keep going anyway. If you want to unlock your full potential, you have to stop running from what makes you uncomfortable, because that's where the magic happens. The idea that comfort is the key to success is a lie. Comfort keeps you stagnant, it keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. It whispers to you that it's okay to stay where you are, that there's no need to push, no need to fight. But if you're serious about becoming the person you've always wanted to be, you must make a decision right now. You must embrace discomfort as a sign that you're growing, not a signal that you should stop. Every time you do something that scares you, something that stretches you, you're expanding your limits. Your comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. It's where your growth comes to a halt. If you want to reach your fullest potential, you must learn to push beyond the barriers of comfort and into the unknown. Because it's only when you face what scares you head on that you uncover who you really are. There's no magic moment where everything is perfect, where everything falls into place. Life is messy, unpredictable, and constantly changing. And if you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. The truth is, those perfect conditions will never come. So you have to create them by stepping into discomfort, by choosing to face the hard things, even when they make your heart race. Most people think of discomfort as a sign that something is wrong. But discomfort is actually a sign that you're on the right track. It's a signal that you're pushing yourself, that you're stretching your limits. Discomfort is the price you pay for growth. It's the cost of reaching the next level of your potential. And it's not optional if you want to rise. The greatest achievements in life are never accomplished by staying comfortable. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who've achieved incredible things. They didn't get there by avoiding discomfort. They got there by embracing it, by doing what scared them, by pushing through pain, fear, and uncertainty. They didn't wait for the conditions to be perfect. They created those conditions by moving forward in the face of discomfort. They learned that every time they felt uncomfortable, they were one step closer to unlocking their potential. If you've ever felt stuck, it's probably because you've been avoiding discomfort. Maybe you've been waiting for the right moment to take action, or you've been letting fear dictate your decisions. But here's the truth: if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. The longer you stay in that safe zone, the harder it will be to break out. But the second you make the decision to step into discomfort, everything changes. You begin to stretch, to grow, to evolve, and in the process you unlock parts of yourself that you never knew existed. You can't become someone you've never been by doing what you've always done. To reach the next level of your potential, you have to do what you've never done. That means putting yourself in situations that challenge you, that make you uncomfortable. Whether it's speaking up when you've always stayed quiet, pushing your body past its limits, or taking on a new project that scares you, those moments of discomfort are where you'll find your true power. But it's not just about physical discomfort, it's about mental discomfort too. It's about challenging your thoughts, your beliefs, your fears. It's about questioning the narrative that has held you back and rewriting it. It's about seeing obstacles as opportunities and discomfort as the key to growth. When you shift your mindset and stop viewing discomfort as something to avoid, you begin to unlock a whole new world of possibilities. If you're ready to transform your life, you have to stop seeing discomfort as a threat. Instead, start seeing it as a tool for personal development. The discomfort you feel today is the strength you'll carry with you tomorrow. Every time you push through that initial resistance, you build more confidence, more resilience, and more belief in yourself. You begin to realize that you're not as fragile as you thought. You're stronger, braver, and more capable than you've ever given yourself credit for. When you learn to embrace discomfort, you stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances. You start taking full responsibility for your life. You stop waiting for things to be easier, and instead you make them easier by taking action. You stop wishing for success and start creating it. You stop letting fear control you and start letting your courage lead you. The more you lean into discomfort, the more you realize it has no power over you. The only power it has is the power you give it. The road to greatness is never smooth. It's filled with bumps, obstacles, and challenges that will test your limits. But if you can learn to embrace those challenges instead of running from them, you'll build the strength you need to overcome anything. You'll begin to see every setback as a lesson, every failure as an opportunity to improve, and every moment of discomfort as a sign that you're moving forward. So here's what you need to do. Start doing the things that make you uncomfortable. Start taking the actions that scare you. Start making decisions that stretch you, that challenge you, that push you to be better than you were yesterday. Every time you face discomfort head-on, you break through another barrier. You become more confident, more powerful, and more unstoppable. And when you do this consistently, something incredible happens. You start to unlock parts of yourself you never knew existed. You tap into reserves of strength, resilience, and creativity that have always been inside you, just waiting to be unleashed. You become the person you were always meant to be, the person who faces life with courage, clarity, and unwavering confidence. But remember, none of this happens by accident. You have to choose discomfort. You have to seek it out. You have to become so committed to your growth that you no longer fear the hard things, but welcome them as opportunities to expand your capacity. The more you do this, the more you'll discover just how limitless you truly are. So if you're ready to take your life to the next level, start today. Embrace discomfort. Seek it out. Challenge yourself to grow in ways you never thought possible. And when you do, you'll unlock your full potential, and you'll realize that the only thing standing between you and your dreams was your willingness to embrace discomfort all along. Chapter 4. Focus on progress over perfection to stay consistent. Perfection is a lie. Progress is the truth. It's easy to get caught up in the chase for perfection. This idea that everything has to be flawless, that we must have it all figured out, that we need everything to align just right before we take the next step. But the problem with perfection is simple. It keeps you stuck. It paralyzes you. It tells you that if you're not doing things perfectly, you're not doing them at all. And as a result, you end up procrastinating, doubting yourself, and losing sight of what really matters: progress. You've probably been there, right? That overwhelming feeling of wanting to get everything just right before you take action. You wait for the perfect moment, for the perfect circumstances, or for the perfect idea. But guess what? Perfection doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And while you're waiting for it, life is passing you by. What if I told you that the secret to success, to real growth, is not about perfection, but about progress? What if I told you that consistency, showing up every day, no matter how small the step, is what truly leads to greatness? The truth is, perfection is a trap. It's a trap that keeps you from making progress, from moving forward, from living your best life, and the longer you chase it, the further you get from your goals. But progress is something you can control. Progress is something you can measure, something that will always lead you to your desired destination, if you stay focused on it. When you shift your focus from perfection to progress, something incredible happens. You stop waiting for the right moment. You stop stressing over every little detail. Instead, you focus on taking consistent steps forward, no matter how small. You start moving, and as you move, you start building momentum. Each step, each action, no matter how imperfect, gets you closer to your goal. Think about it. Every successful person you admire didn't get to where they are by striving for perfection. They got there by putting in the work, by making mistakes, by learning from those mistakes, and by constantly improving. They didn't wait for the perfect conditions, the perfect plan, or the perfect timing. They just started, and they focused on the progress they were making, not the perfection they were chasing. Imagine if Thomas Edison had given up after his first few attempts at creating the light bulb, because it wasn't perfect. Or if Michael Jordan had quit after being cut from his high school basketball team because he didn't feel perfect. These people didn't reach greatness because they were perfect. They reached greatness because they kept going. They kept making progress, even when it felt slow, even when it seemed like they weren't getting anywhere. And that's the key, staying consistent, no matter what. If you're stuck in a cycle of perfectionism, it's time to break free. Perfection doesn't give you results, it gives you stress, anxiety, and a constant feeling of inadequacy. It keeps you frozen in place, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Progress, on the other hand, is a process. It's about moving forward, one step at a time, even when you don't feel ready, even when you're not sure of the outcome. And in the process, you'll learn, you'll grow, and you'll find the results you're looking for. The key to success isn't in trying to get everything perfect. It's in showing up every day, doing the best you can with what you have, and allowing yourself to improve over time. That's how you create lasting change. Here's the deal, you'll never feel perfect. The idea of perfection is subjective. What you think is perfect today may not seem perfect tomorrow. So instead of chasing something unattainable, focus on what you can do today. Focus on what progress looks like for you right now. Not in the future, not when you feel more prepared, but in this moment. That's how you stay consistent. Let go of the pressure to be flawless, and start embracing the power of making progress. Progress builds confidence. Progress gives you the courage to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. Because when you're focused on making progress, every small win counts. Every little step forward is a victory. Perfectionism makes you feel like you have to be someone you're not in order to succeed. It creates self-doubt, frustration, and burnout. But when you focus on progress, you embrace the journey. You accept that there will be bumps along the way. You acknowledge that mistakes are part of the process. You learn from them, adjust, and keep moving forward. Think about the first time you tried anything new. It wasn't perfect, was it? But over time, as you practiced, as you kept going, you improved. And as you improved, you gained confidence. That's the power of progress. It doesn't require perfection, but it does require persistence. It's about showing up, even when you don't feel like it, and doing the best you can with what you have. Now, I'm not saying that striving for excellence isn't important. Of course it is. But excellence comes from consistent effort over time, not from trying to get everything perfect right out of the gate. You will never be the best version of yourself by obsessing over every little flaw. You become your best self by taking action, learning from your mistakes, and improving little by little, every single day. Perfection paralyzes you because it keeps you in a state of indecision. You worry that you're not doing things the right way, so you delay taking action. But when you shift your focus to progress, you stop worrying about the outcome. You start worrying about the process. And the process is where the magic happens. Progress happens in the messy, imperfect, and uncertain moments. It happens when you're not sure if it's going to work, but you do it anyway. If you want to stay consistent, if you want to keep moving forward, if you want to make real change in your life, you need to let go of perfection. Perfection will keep you stuck in the same place, but progress will propel you forward. You'll start building momentum, you'll start seeing results, and most importantly, you'll start believing in yourself. You're going to make mistakes along the way. That's inevitable. But what separates the people who succeed from the people who fail is their ability to keep going. They don't stop because they're not perfect. They keep going because they know that every imperfect step is bringing them closer to where they want to be. So don't wait for perfection. Start now. Take that first step, no matter how messy, No matter how uncertain, focus on progress, not perfection, and watch how everything starts to change. You're capable of more than you think, but only if you stop waiting for things to be perfect. Start focusing on what you can do today, in this moment, to make progress. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent, it's about showing up every day, doing the best you can, and letting progress lead the way. Take that first step. The rest will follow. Chapter 5. Own your mistakes and turn them into lessons. You will never grow if you're too afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes. That word alone holds so much weight for so many people. It's a word that carries shame, disappointment, and the feeling of failure. The truth is, we all make them. No one is immune to them. But the real question is, how do we respond to them? Do we run from them? Hide in shame? Or do we own them, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones to something greater? If you want to transform your life, if you want to break through the barriers that hold you back, you need to embrace your mistakes. Own them. Don't shy away from them. Because buried within every mistake is a lesson waiting to be discovered. Mistakes aren't the enemy. The enemy is pretending they never happened. The enemy is the belief that mistakes define you or your worth. The truth is, mistakes are part of the process. They are necessary if you want to grow. If you want to reach your full potential, you must understand that mistakes are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, every person who's achieved greatness, has made mistakes. They didn't get where they are by avoiding failure. They got there by failing, learning, and then failing better. They've fallen, gotten up, and turned their mistakes into lessons. But how do you do that? How do you turn mistakes into valuable lessons instead of letting them weigh you down with regret and self-doubt? The first step is simple. Stop running from your mistakes. Stop pretending they didn't happen. Acknowledge them. Own them. Look at them directly in the eye and say, yes, I made that mistake, and yes, I am going to learn from it. When you own your mistakes, something incredible happens. You stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop blaming others or the situation for what went wrong. You take full responsibility, and in doing so, you take control of your life. You reclaim your power. Because once you take ownership, you gain the ability to change the outcome. You can choose to learn, grow, and evolve. The next step is to shift your mindset. Instead of viewing mistakes as failures, see them as feedback. Every mistake is a lesson. It's telling you something about yourself, about the situation, or about the approach you took. Instead of getting stuck in the emotion of it, step back and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What did this teach me that will make me better next time? When you make this shift in thinking, mistakes become your teachers. They show you where you went wrong, what you could have done differently, and how to avoid making the same error in the future. Mistakes provide clarity. They guide you. The key is not to let them break you, but to let them build you. Let's take a look at the world's greatest achievers. Think about Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb. Do you think he got it right the first time? Of course not. He failed thousands of times. But instead of giving up, he learned from each failure. In fact, he famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the mindset of someone who owns their mistakes. That is the mindset of someone who turns mistakes into lessons and moves forward with purpose. The same goes for Michael Jordan. He was cut from his high school basketball team. Does that sound like the perfect start to a future NBA legend? Not at all. But instead of letting that failure define him, he used it to fuel his determination. He didn't run from his mistakes. He learned from them. And every time he fell short, he used it as an opportunity to rise higher. And guess what? You have that same power. You can take every mistake and turn it into something positive. But it all comes down to how you respond. When you own your mistakes, you stop living in the past. You stop being chained to regret. Instead, you move forward with a new sense of wisdom and understanding. You transform the negative energy into a driving force that propels you forward. It's not about being perfect. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about how you handle them. It's about how you use them to push you further, to make you stronger, and to make you wiser. One of the most empowering things you can do is shift your focus from what you lost through the mistake to what you gained. Yes, mistakes often come with pain, but with that pain comes growth. When you embrace your mistakes as part of your journey, you begin to understand that every setback is simply a setup for a comeback. The key is not to let your mistakes become your identity. They are events, not definitions. They are experiences, not limitations. You are not your mistakes. You are the person who learns from them, who adapts, and who grows stronger because of them. It's your response to your mistakes that defines who you are, not the mistakes themselves. There's power in owning your mistakes. There's power in saying, I messed up, but I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to do better next time. When you do this, you take control of your narrative. You refuse to be a victim. You refuse to let failure define you. Instead, you make it part of your success story. But here's the kicker: you have to forgive yourself. You have to release the shame and guilt that come with making mistakes. Holding on to these negative emotions will only keep you stuck. The moment you let go of self-blame and allow yourself to learn and grow from your mistakes, you free yourself to move forward with confidence. Now let's talk about the power of consistency in owning your mistakes. It's not enough to just acknowledge them once and move on. The true power comes when you continue to show up, continue to learn, and continue to improve, day after day, mistake after mistake. Each time you own a mistake, you are building resilience, strengthening your mindset, and sharpening your ability to handle adversity. This is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful, the ability to learn from every mistake and to keep pushing forward, no matter what. Imagine if you allowed yourself to make mistakes without fear. Imagine if you looked at each mistake as a lesson, a stepping stone on your path to greatness. Imagine if you took ownership of every misstep, learned from it, and then used it to fuel your next move. That's how you unlock your full potential. Mistakes are not the end of the road. They are simply detours, teaching moments that show you a better way. When you learn to own your mistakes, you start to see them as opportunities for growth. They are opportunities to become better, smarter, and more capable than you were before. You're not perfect, and that's okay. The people who succeed are the ones who accept that. They know that mistakes are inevitable, but they also know that they have the power to turn those mistakes into lessons that will guide them to their ultimate success. Now it's time for you to take ownership. Own your mistakes. Don't hide from them. Don't run from them. Learn from them, use them, and turn them into the fuel that drives you to success. The next time you make a mistake, instead of letting it hold you back, let it push you forward. The power is in your hands. It's in your ability to learn, to grow, and to move forward, no matter what. So what will you do with your mistakes today? Will you let them define you, or will you turn them into your greatest lessons? The choice is yours, and it's time to take ownership, because the moment you do, you step into your true power, and there's no limit to what you can achieve. Chapter 6. Set clear goals to fuel your everyday actions. If you don't have a clear goal, you are wandering through life without a map. Imagine waking up every day with no direction, no vision of where you're headed, just going through the motions without any real sense of purpose. It's easy to fall into this trap. It's easy to get distracted by life's noise, by what everyone else is doing, by the urgency of everything around you. But let me tell you this, without clear goals, you will always be chasing someone else's dreams, someone else's path, someone else's life. And that's not the life you were meant to live. If you truly want to achieve something extraordinary, you need to have clear, specific goals. You need to define exactly what it is that you want to accomplish, and you need to break that vision down into actionable steps. Only then will you fuel your every action with purpose, and only then will you begin to move closer and closer to your dreams, day after day. A goal is not just some wish that you think about occasionally. It's a destination, a target that you aim for with every ounce of your focus. When you set clear goals, you create a roadmap that leads you towards success. It's a map that helps you make decisions, prioritize your time, and channel your energy. It's a guide that turns your everyday actions into meaningful steps towards something bigger than yourself. And it's the key that unlocks the power to achieve greatness. But here's the thing, setting a goal isn't enough. Most people set goals, but they don't commit to them. They don't have the discipline to follow through. They don't have the clarity to make sure their goals are aligned with what they truly want, and so they fall off track. They get distracted, they lose their focus, and before they know it, their goals are just distant memories of things they once wanted but never achieved. That doesn't have to be your story. What you need is more than just a goal. You need a clear, unwavering vision. A vision so compelling that it drives you to wake up every morning with purpose. You need to connect emotionally to your goal, because when you do, when you tap into the why behind your goal, it becomes much more than just something you want. It becomes something you have to achieve. When you connect to your why, your goals stop being abstract concepts. They become personal. They become a mission. They become your driving force. This is where the magic happens. The moment you align your actions with your purpose, everything shifts. No longer are you just going through the motions. Every decision you make, every action you take, every moment you invest in your goal has deep meaning. It's no longer about doing something. It's about doing the right thing, the thing that moves you closer to your desired outcome. Without a clear goal, your actions will be scattered. You'll find yourself doing things that don't matter, wasting time on tasks that don't bring you closer to your dream. You'll get sidetracked by distractions, by other people's demands, by random opportunities that look good but aren't aligned with your vision. But when you have clear goals, you know exactly what matters. You know exactly what to say yes to, and more importantly, you know exactly what to say no to. That's why it's essential to set goals that are specific. Vague goals like "I want to be successful" or "I want to be healthier" will not drive you. You need to get detailed. What does success look like to you? What does health mean to you? The more specific you get, the clearer your path becomes. Success doesn't just happen. It's a series of well-thought-out actions that align with your goals. When you get clear on exactly what success looks like, you can start building a strategy to get there. Your goals also need to be measurable. If you can't measure progress, you won't know if you're moving forward or stagnating. Set milestones and celebrate them as you achieve them. When you measure progress, you get a sense of momentum. You can see the results of your hard work, and that drives you to keep going. But there's another layer to this, and it's the one that most people overlook. Your goals need to be meaningful. They need to matter to you at a deep level. If your goal is just something you think you should do, or something that doesn't resonate with your soul, you won't stick with it. Motivation will fade. Obstacles will seem insurmountable, but when your goals are meaningful, when they connect to your deepest desires, nothing can stop you. Let's take a step back and think about how clear goals actually fuel your everyday actions. When you wake up in the morning and you know exactly what you're working toward, it changes everything. You don't waste time trying to figure out what to do. You don't question whether or not you should be working. You know exactly what your next step is. And this clarity makes it easier to overcome obstacles because you have a constant reminder of your why. Even when things get hard, when challenges arise, when doubts creep in, your goals become your anchor. They remind you of the bigger picture, the reason you're pushing through the discomfort. This is where consistency comes into play. Having clear goals allows you to take consistent action. Every action you take is purposeful. Every task, no matter how small, moves you one step closer to your goal. And consistency, when it's applied with clarity, compounds over time. It's the small daily actions that lead to extraordinary results. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but with every action it grows bigger and more powerful. And that's the secret. Success isn't about massive dramatic changes. It's about small, consistent actions that accumulate over time. It's about showing up, day in and day out, and knowing that every single action you take is adding up. You may not see the results right away, but keep going. The results will come. When you have a clear goal, you can trust the process, because you know that every step you take is one step closer to your success. But what happens when you don't set clear goals? When you don't have a roadmap to follow? You wander, you flounder, you end up where you don't want to be. It's easy to get distracted, to lose focus, and to get caught up in the chaos of life. But when you have a goal, when you know exactly where you're going, you're in control. You get to decide the direction you take. You get to determine what's worth your time and energy. You can block out the distractions and focus on what really matters. The power of setting clear goals is undeniable. They fuel your motivation, guide your actions, and give you a sense of purpose. They create a sense of urgency, because you know exactly what needs to be done. And as you take consistent action toward your goals, the momentum builds and success becomes inevitable. If you want to be successful, if you want to achieve greatness, it all starts with setting clear goals. Not just any goals, specific, measurable, meaningful goals. Goals that push you, challenge you, and excite you. Goals that make you wake up every morning with purpose, knowing exactly what you're working toward. So ask yourself, what are your goals, and more importantly, what are you willing to do to achieve them? Will you continue to wander through life without a map, or will you take control and set a clear path toward the life you truly desire? The choice is yours, and it's time to make it. Your future depends on it. Chapter 7. Prioritize daily actions that align with your vision. Your vision is your compass. Without it, you're just drifting, lost, unsure of your destination. But when you prioritize actions that align with that vision, every step you take becomes a powerful move towards your dreams. Imagine waking up every morning with a clear sense of purpose, knowing exactly what you need to do to get closer to the life you want. This is not some fantasy. This is your reality, waiting for you to step into it. So often, we get caught up in the noise of life. We get distracted by all the things that seem urgent but aren't important. We react to the demands of the world around us without ever pausing to consider if they align with where we want to go. It's easy to fall into this trap, to let the days slip by, consumed with tasks that don't bring us any closer to the person we're meant to become. But there's a better way, a way that requires you to be intentional, disciplined, and laser-focused on your vision. When you prioritize daily actions that align with your vision, everything starts to change. You stop living reactively and start living with purpose. Every day becomes an opportunity to move forward, to build momentum, to make progress in the direction of your dreams. It's no longer about what's urgent, it's about what's important. And when you focus on what matters most, everything else begins to fall into place. You might be asking yourself, how do I know what actions align with my vision? The answer is simple: clarity. When you have a crystal clear vision of what you want in life, the actions that will get you there become obvious. You no longer have to guess what you should do next. You don't have to spend time wondering if you're on the right path. The steps you need to take are clear, and you can take them with confidence. But clarity doesn't happen by accident. It's something you have to actively create. You need to invest time in defining your vision, in making it as specific and tangible as possible. Your vision should be something that excites you, something that pulls you forward, even on the days when the work is hard. It should be something so powerful that it becomes a driving force in your life. Once you have that vision in place, the next step is to break it down into actionable steps. This is where the magic happens. You start to see that the big dreams you have aren't just impossible fantasies, they are real, achievable outcomes that you can create with your daily actions. Each action you take becomes a small but essential piece of the puzzle, bringing you closer to your ultimate goal. And the more consistent you are with those actions, the closer you get to making your vision a reality. Now I want you to think about how you're spending your time. How many of your daily actions are truly aligned with the life you want to create? Are you focused on the tasks that will get you closer to your goals, or are you getting distracted by things that don't matter? The truth is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but how we use that time makes all the difference. It's easy to fill your day with small, insignificant tasks, checking emails, scrolling through social media, responding to demands that are urgent but not important. But these tasks won't move you closer to your vision. They won't help you achieve the life you truly want. Instead, you need to prioritize the actions that will actually get you there. Start by identifying the tasks that are most aligned with your vision. What are the things that, if you did them every day, would have the greatest impact on your life? These are the tasks that should be at the top of your to-do list. Everything else can wait. Prioritizing these daily actions requires discipline. It means saying no to distractions and yes to the things that matter most. It means resisting the temptation to react to every demand that comes your way, and instead choosing to stay focused on your long-term goals. It means being willing to put in the hard work now, even when the results aren't immediate, because you know that every small action you take is a step closer to your vision. But this is where most people fall short. They get distracted, they lose sight of their vision. They get caught up in the busyness of life and forget to prioritize what truly matters. It's easy to get off track, especially when things get tough or when the results aren't coming as quickly as you'd like. But this is the time when you need to dig in and double down on your commitment to your vision. When you prioritize daily actions that align with your vision, you develop a sense of discipline and focus that becomes unstoppable. Every day becomes an opportunity to prove to yourself that you're serious about your dreams. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start taking action, no matter how imperfect it may seem. You understand that the process of growth is messy, but it's the only way to get where you want to go. And here's the thing, when you start taking consistent, purposeful action toward your vision, you will begin to see results. At first they may be small, maybe it's just a little progress, a small win, but those wins will add up. As you build momentum, the results will snowball, What once felt like an impossible dream will become an achievable reality. And the best part, you'll have built the discipline and the habits necessary to keep going. The daily actions you take will become second nature, and you'll begin to live your life in alignment with your vision every single day. It's not going to be easy. The road ahead will have challenges, setbacks and obstacles. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when the vision seems distant and unattainable. But this is when you need to dig deeper, when you need to remind yourself of why you started in the first place. You have a vision that is worth fighting for, and the daily actions you take are what will get you there. When you stay consistent and prioritize what matters most, you start to see that every moment counts. Every action you take is one step closer to your dream. You stop letting distractions take up your time and energy, and you start focusing on what really matters. And when you look back, you'll realize that all the small daily actions you took added up to something extraordinary. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what daily actions do you need to prioritize today? What tasks are you putting off that are aligned with your vision? What distractions do you need to say no to? The answers are within you. You already know what needs to be done. It's time to stop waiting and start taking action. Your future is built on the choices you make today. So go ahead, choose your vision, prioritize your actions, take consistent steps toward your dreams. And remember, the power is in your hands. You have everything you need to make your vision a reality. It's time to stop waiting and start doing. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 8. Develop a mindset that embraces growth and learning. There's one thing that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who simply wish for them: the mindset. It's not luck, not chance, not external circumstances. It's the power of a mindset that is constantly evolving, growing, and learning. When you embrace growth and learning as your daily practice, you unlock a world of limitless possibilities. Think about the last time you faced a challenge or failed at something. What did you think in that moment? Did you let it define you, or did you see it as a lesson, a stepping stone in your journey? Most people, when confronted with failure or difficulty, instinctively retreat. They feel defeated, discouraged, and begin to doubt themselves. But what if, instead of seeing failure as a setback, you could view it as a golden opportunity for growth? That's the key difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise higher with each challenge they face. People with a growth mindset know that every failure, every struggle, and every obstacle is a chance to learn, adapt, and improve. They don't shy away from difficulty, they lean into it. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me better? Imagine how powerful it would be to have this mindset. Instead of fearing failure, you would embrace it, knowing that it's the catalyst for your greatest transformation. It's the same mindset that turns every challenge into an opportunity and every setback into a comeback. You begin to see life not as a series of obstacles, but as a series of lessons, each one guiding you closer to who you are meant to become. A mindset that embraces growth and learning is one that stays open to new ideas, feedback, and experiences. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about having the courage to keep going, to keep evolving, no matter how difficult the path becomes. The moment you start to view the world as an endless classroom, where each day offers a new lesson, you step into your full potential. But developing this kind of mindset isn't easy. It requires shifting the way you view the world, your failures, and yourself. It requires letting go of the old, fixed ideas you've held on to and replacing them with a belief that you are capable of growing, learning, and improving at any point in your life. So let's take a moment to examine what it truly means to have a growth mindset and how you can start cultivating it in your own life. At the core of a growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence are not fixed traits. They are things you can develop through effort, learning, and persistence. This stands in stark contrast to a fixed mindset, where people believe that their talents and intelligence are set in stone. A fixed mindset tells you that if you're not good at something right now, you never will be. A growth mindset, on the other hand, tells you that skills are earned, not inherited. With consistent effort and a willingness to learn, you can grow and improve in any area of your life. This mindset is the foundation of personal growth. It's the reason why successful people continue to grow even after they reach their goals. The key to their success isn't just talent or intelligence, it's the fact that they never stop learning. They read, they listen, they seek out feedback, and they apply what they've learned to continue moving forward. One of the most important aspects of a growth mindset is the ability to seek out and accept feedback. Many people fear criticism because they associate it with failure, but in reality, feedback is one of the most valuable tools for growth. When you embrace feedback, you're saying, "I'm willing to improve, and I'm willing to learn, even if it's uncomfortable." You're opening yourself up to constructive criticism that can take you to the next level. And more importantly, you're recognizing that no one ever reaches the top on their own. Every successful person has mentors, coaches, and a network of support that helps them stay on track. Embracing growth also means being willing to challenge your current beliefs and assumptions. We all have mental shortcuts, beliefs that we've built over time, often without questioning them. Some of these beliefs may have served us in the past, but they can also limit our growth if they're not aligned with who we want to become. A growth mindset allows you to be flexible, to question your assumptions, and to be open to new ways of thinking and doing things. When you challenge your beliefs, you break through the mental barriers that hold you back, and you create new opportunities for growth. One of the most profound ways a growth mindset manifests is in the way you approach failure. If you're like most people, you probably feel frustrated or defeated when you fail. It's natural to want to avoid failure at all costs. But here's the secret: failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. It's the raw material from which success is built. Every successful person has failed at something, often more times than they can count, but they don't let those failures define them. They use them as lessons, as stepping stones toward their ultimate success. In fact, the most successful people often fail faster and more frequently than others because they're not afraid to try new things. They understand that every failure brings them one step closer to finding the right solution. They embrace the idea that learning is a process and that failure is simply a temporary setback. It's the mindset of, "I may not have succeeded this time, but I'll learn from it and come back stronger." A growth mindset also means not being afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen when you stay in familiar, comfortable places. It happens when you push yourself beyond your limits, when you challenge yourself to take risks and try new things. The more you step out of your comfort zone, the more you learn about yourself and the world around you. And every time you do it, you build resilience and strength that will serve you for the rest of your life. So how can you start developing a mindset that embraces growth and learning? First, start by shifting your internal dialogue. Pay attention to the way you talk to yourself when you encounter obstacles. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'm not there yet, but I will get there with effort and persistence." Reframe your thoughts to focus on the possibility of growth and improvement rather than the certainty of failure. This small shift can make a world of difference. Next, be proactive in seeking out opportunities to learn. Whether it's reading books, taking courses, attending seminars, or simply having conversations with people who challenge your thinking, make it a point to expose yourself to new ideas. The more you fill your mind with new knowledge, the more you open yourself up to personal growth. Finally, practice resilience. When things get tough, remind yourself that growth is a process. Embrace setbacks as part of the journey, not as the end of the road. Keep moving forward, no matter how difficult it gets, knowing that each step is a lesson in itself. The truth is, the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. When you develop a mindset that embraces growth and learning, you break free from those limits. You open yourself up to endless possibilities, knowing that you have the power to change, evolve, and achieve anything you set your mind to. So take this moment to decide, will you let your past define you, or will you embrace a mindset of growth and learning that propels you toward your greatest potential? The choice is yours, and the power is in your hands. Keep learning, keep growing, keep evolving, because when you do, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Chapter 9. Cultivate discipline to stay committed to your journey. If you want to change your life, if you want to achieve anything that truly matters to you, then you need discipline. Discipline is the foundation of success. It's not talent, not luck, not even timing. It's discipline. It's the ability to stay committed to your journey when everything around you is tempting you to quit, when the world is trying to pull you off course, and when you can feel the weight of your own doubts. It's the power to keep going when it's easier to give up. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who have it easy, or the ones who are born with innate talent. They are the ones who have learned to stay disciplined, who have made the commitment to continue, no matter how tough the road gets. This is what sets them apart, their ability to endure, to keep moving forward, to trust the process, and to stay disciplined when others are falling off track. Discipline is the secret weapon that transforms dreams into reality. It's the muscle that you build day by day, pushing you to take the right actions, even when you don't feel like it. It's the unshakable commitment to your goals, the refusal to settle for anything less than your best, and the ability to stay true to your vision, regardless of distractions, setbacks, or temporary discomfort. But here's the truth. Developing discipline is not easy. It's not a magic pill you can take overnight. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and instantly have. Discipline is something that is built over time, through consistent effort, sacrifice, and a relentless focus on your goals. It's about creating a system of habits that align with your vision and following through on those habits day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. You've probably heard people say, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll start next week." But here's the problem with that mindset. Tomorrow never comes. The future is an illusion. The only time that truly exists is right now, this moment. If you don't take action today, you will find yourself stuck in a cycle of procrastination and empty promises. It's easy to convince yourself that you'll be disciplined later, but later doesn't exist. The time to act is always now. So how do you cultivate discipline to stay committed to your journey, even when the going gets tough? How do you ensure that your commitment to your goals doesn't waver, even when the world is trying to knock you off track? The answer lies in developing a mindset that makes discipline not just something you do, but something you are. Discipline starts with clarity. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a clear vision of your goals and why they matter, then staying disciplined will be almost impossible. Without a clear destination, every path will look the same, and you'll find yourself drifting aimlessly. But when you know exactly what you want to achieve, when you can see your vision clearly, it becomes easier to stay focused. You can measure every action against your ultimate goal and ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my vision? If the answer is no, then you don't waste time on it. Clarity brings purpose, and purpose brings discipline. When you're connected to the reason behind your goals, when you understand why it's important to keep going, discipline becomes a natural byproduct of that purpose. You're not just pushing yourself for the sake of it, you're pushing yourself because you know that every step forward brings you closer to something that truly matters to you. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate discipline is through daily routines. It's easy to talk about discipline in theory, but the truth is, discipline is only built when you show up consistently, day after day. Your daily routine is where discipline either thrives or falters. When you make your habits non-negotiable, when you commit to your actions even when you don't feel like it, that's where the magic happens. But here's the catch: routines must be designed with your goals in mind. If your routine isn't aligned with your vision, if it doesn't move you closer to where you want to be, then you're simply going through the motions. Routines that are rooted in distraction or procrastination won't help you develop discipline. They'll only reinforce the bad habits that hold you back. But when your routine is intentionally designed to fuel your growth and move you toward your goals, it becomes a powerful tool for discipline. It's no longer about motivation, it's about consistency. The more you show up, the easier it becomes to continue showing up. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. The harder it is at first, the more rewarding it becomes later. And here's the kicker: discipline doesn't just affect your actions, it also changes your mindset. The more disciplined you become, the more you believe in your ability to follow through. Every small victory builds your confidence, and the next time you face a challenge, you'll find yourself trusting that you can handle it, because you've already shown yourself that you can. But there's something even deeper that you must understand about discipline. It's not just about doing what's easy, it's about doing what's necessary. And that means making hard decisions. Discipline means saying no to the things that aren't aligned with your vision. It means cutting out distractions, avoiding shortcuts, and making sacrifices in the short term for long-term gains. It means saying yes to the hard work, the discomfort, and the growth that comes from pushing yourself beyond your limits. There will be moments when you'll want to quit, when you'll feel like giving up because it's too hard, or you're not seeing the results fast enough. But those are the moments when discipline matters the most. Discipline is the ability to push through those moments, to continue even when your mind is telling you to stop. It's the courage to stay committed to the process, to trust that your efforts will pay off, even when the rewards aren't immediately visible. You can't build discipline by looking for instant gratification. The road to success is long, and it requires patience. But the beautiful thing about discipline is that it compounds over time. Every action you take, every day you commit to your journey adds up. The small steps you take today may seem insignificant, but they'll lead to massive results over time. Discipline is about staying in the game long enough for the results to materialize. Another key to cultivating discipline is accountability. When you commit to something, make it public. Share your goals with someone you trust, someone who will hold you accountable. There's something powerful about having someone to answer to, someone who will check in on your progress and encourage you to keep going. Accountability adds a layer of responsibility that can make a huge difference in maintaining your commitment. Discipline is not about being perfect, it's about progress. It's about understanding that you will have setbacks, you will have days when you don't feel motivated, and you will face obstacles along the way. But discipline is the decision to keep going despite those challenges. It's the ability to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward, even when things aren't going your way. So if you're ready to cultivate discipline and stay committed to your journey, start today. Start by making a decision to show up, to do the work, to stick to your routines, and to stay focused on your vision. Remember, discipline isn't something that happens overnight. It's something you build, one day at a time. But with every step you take, you are strengthening your ability to stay committed to your goals and to turn your dreams into reality. Discipline isn't easy, but it's worth it. And the rewards you reap on the other side will be more than worth the effort. Keep going, because you are capable of achieving everything you've set your heart on, and with discipline you will make it happen. Stay committed, stay disciplined, and watch your life transform. Chapter 10. Conquer distractions and stay committed to your purpose. You have a dream. You have a vision of the life you want, but it's like every time you take a step forward, something pulls you back. Distractions are everywhere. They creep into your day, steal your focus, and before you know it, you've lost hours or even days, spinning your wheels and wondering why you're still not moving forward. The problem is clear. You haven't yet mastered the art of conquering distractions. Here's the truth. Distractions are the enemy of progress. Every time you get sidetracked, you're giving away a piece of your power. Every time you let something pull you off track, you're wasting precious time that could be spent on your purpose. It's not just about staying busy. It's about staying committed to what truly matters. It's about understanding that every second spent on things that don't align with your vision is a second stolen from your future, and that's time you'll never get back. We live in a world that thrives on distractions. Everywhere we turn, there's something pulling at our attention. Social media, endless notifications, news stories, people asking for our time, and even the chaos within our own minds. Distractions are relentless, and they never stop. But if you want to truly commit to your purpose, if you want to achieve the success you know you're capable of, then you must learn to conquer these distractions. The first step in conquering distractions is understanding why they exist in the first place. Distractions are not just about the things outside of you. They are often a reflection of what's going on inside. If you are not fully clear on your purpose, if you haven't defined your vision with crystal clarity, then distractions will fill the void. If you're not sure what you want, then anything can take your focus. But when you have a clear, burning desire to achieve something, when your purpose is so deeply embedded in your soul that it drives your every action, then distractions lose their power over you. Think about it. When you're working on something that excites you, something that's in line with your purpose, time flies. You're locked in, you're focused, and nothing can pull you away. But when you're not clear on what you want, when you're unsure of your path, distractions can slip in unnoticed, claiming your time and your energy. That's why it's critical to develop a mindset that knows exactly what it's after and refuses to be sidetracked. To conquer distractions, you must build an unshakable foundation of focus. Focus is the shield that protects your energy and your time from the forces that try to drain them. When you focus on what matters, you become unstoppable. But it's not enough to just tell yourself to focus. You must take deliberate, actionable steps to guard your attention and create an environment that supports your vision. One of the most powerful tools you can use to stay focused is eliminating the things that cause distractions in the first place. Look at your environment. Look at the people around you. Look at your daily habits. Are there things that constantly pull you away from your goals? Are there activities that drain your energy without giving you anything in return? If so, it's time to make some tough decisions. You can't expect to stay committed to your purpose if you're surrounded by chaos, negativity, or constant interruptions. Start by creating boundaries. Set clear lines around your time and your focus. This means saying no to things that don't align with your goals. It means making hard choices about what you allow into your life. It might mean saying no to social media, to unnecessary meetings, to people who drain your energy or distract you from what matters. It might mean changing your environment, creating a space where you can focus, where you can be productive, and where distractions are minimized. Boundaries aren't just about avoiding distractions, they're about protecting your energy and your mental space. When you guard your time fiercely, when you choose to invest your time in things that are aligned with your purpose, you're creating a powerful cycle of momentum. Each day you say no to distractions is a day you say yes to progress. You're reinforcing your commitment to your purpose and showing the world and yourself that you're serious about your goals. But conquering distractions isn't just about the external environment. It's also about mastering your internal distractions, the thoughts, the doubts, the fears, and the endless noise inside your head. You see, distractions are not only the external forces pulling at you, they are also the internal battles that keep you from staying focused on what matters. These internal distractions are often more powerful than anything else, because they are deeply tied to your emotions, your fears, and your self-doubt. How many times have you caught yourself worrying about what might go wrong? How many times have you hesitated, wondering if you're good enough or if it's worth the effort? Those are distractions in your mind. They keep you from taking action, from moving forward, from doing the work that will get you closer to your goals. The key to conquering these internal distractions is developing mental resilience, the ability to push through doubts, fears, and negative thoughts without letting them take hold. A powerful way to do this is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment, of observing your thoughts without judgment, and of focusing on what's happening right now. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to separate yourself from the noise in your head. You realize that your thoughts are just that. Thoughts. They are not facts. And most of the time they are distractions designed to keep you from your purpose. Instead of allowing your mind to take you off track, you learn to observe your thoughts, acknowledge them, and then redirect your focus back to your purpose. Every time a distraction arises, whether it's an external interruption or an internal doubt, you have the power to acknowledge it, and then consciously choose to return to what matters. This is a skill that takes time to develop, but with practice it becomes second nature. Another key to staying committed to your purpose and conquering distractions is to break your goals down into manageable steps. One of the biggest distractions people face is the overwhelming feeling of how much work they have to do. When you look at your goals as a massive, unachievable mountain, it's easy to get discouraged and distracted. But when you break those goals down into smaller, bite-sized pieces, it becomes much easier to stay focused and committed. Start by identifying the small, actionable steps you can take each day. These are the things that will move you closer to your goal, one step at a time. By focusing on small wins, you build momentum and create a feeling of progress, which keeps you motivated and committed. It's the small actions that add up to big results, and the more consistent you are, the less power distractions will have over you. And then there's the power of routine. Routine is a game changer when it comes to conquering distractions. The more you automate your actions, the less mental energy you waste on deciding what to do next. When you have a set routine that aligns with your purpose, you reduce the chances of being distracted because you're already committed to the actions that matter. A routine takes the decision-making process out of the equation, which means you can focus more of your energy on executing your tasks and less on deciding what to do next. Lastly, remember that distractions are not always the enemy. Sometimes the problem is not the distractions themselves, but how you react to them. Instead of resisting distractions and making them the enemy, learn to embrace them as part of the process. Understand that distractions will always be there. They are a natural part of life. But instead of letting them derail you, see them as an opportunity to practice your focus. Every time a distraction comes your way, take a deep breath, center yourself, and refocus. With every challenge you overcome, your focus and commitment will grow stronger. The truth is, conquering distractions is not about eliminating them entirely. It's about learning how to deal with them, how to stay focused, and how to stay committed to your purpose. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your mental space from the forces that try to pull you off course. And when you do this, when you master the art of staying committed, nothing can stop you from achieving your dreams. So the next time a distraction comes your way, don't fight it. Embrace it as an opportunity to strengthen your commitment. Reclaim your focus, take action, and stay true to your purpose. The world needs what you have to offer, and every moment you stay focused brings you one step closer to making your vision a reality. Chapter 11. Consistently evaluate your progress to stay on track. You're walking the path of progress, one step at a time. But how do you know you're actually moving forward? How do you measure the unseen, the silent strides that accumulate day after day? The answer is simple. If you're not consistently evaluating your progress, you're blind to your own growth. It's like driving with no rear-view mirror. Sure, you're moving, but you have no idea if you're on course. This is the truth we don't always want to admit. Progress isn't always visible, but it's always measurable. If you aren't checking in with where you stand, then you're just hoping your actions are moving you toward your goals. And hoping isn't a strategy. If you want results that stick, you need to evaluate your progress consistently, not just when things feel easy or when you're in the mood to do so. You see, evaluating progress isn't about nitpicking every little detail. It's about taking a step back, gaining perspective, and being brutally honest with yourself. It's about asking the hard questions. Am I truly on track? What's working? What's not working? Am I closer to my vision today than I was yesterday? This is not a practice of self-criticism, but of self-awareness. Without this level of honesty, you will continue moving without direction, without clarity. And that's where so many people fall short. They're busy, but they're not moving with purpose. They're not aligned with their true goals. Think about it for a moment. How much of your time do you spend mindlessly working, without stepping back to evaluate if those actions are truly bringing you closer to where you want to be? We all do it. We work hard, we hustle, we get caught up in the daily grind. But if we don't pause to reflect, we risk moving in the wrong direction. Progress doesn't happen by chance, it happens by design. And that design requires constant evaluation. The best athletes in the world don't just practice and hope they improve. They track every aspect of their performance. Every time they run, jump, or lift, they check their time, their form, and their effort. Why? Because they know that without this feedback, they can't improve. They can't push themselves further if they don't know where their weaknesses lie. The same principle applies to your journey. If you're not constantly evaluating your progress, you're operating blindly. And let's be real, how many times have you set a goal, worked for months, and then looked up to realize you're not where you want to be? It's a harsh realization, but it's a wake-up call. When you commit to consistently evaluating your progress, you're giving yourself the tools you need to course correct. This is where the magic happens. When you can see where you're going wrong, you can adjust and keep moving forward. But this requires brutal honesty. It's not about making excuses or lying to yourself. It's about facing the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Let's talk about the power of small adjustments. You've heard the phrase, it's the little things that make the biggest difference. This couldn't be truer when it comes to progress. When you evaluate your actions consistently, you have the power to make small tweaks that yield massive results. Maybe it's adjusting your daily routine by 15 minutes. Maybe it's eliminating one habit that's been draining your energy. Maybe it's changing the way you approach a task that's been holding you back. Small changes, when made consistently, build momentum. And that momentum compounds, carrying you further than you ever thought possible. But without those evaluations, without that clear, objective feedback, you risk staying stuck in a cycle of repeating the same actions, getting the same results, and never truly advancing. If you don't take the time to assess, you miss the opportunity to refine your approach, to sharpen your focus, and to maximize your potential. You must evaluate with the mindset of an engineer. Engineers don't build bridges without testing them. They don't create systems without measuring their output. They don't guess. They track, they measure, and they adjust. This should be your approach to life. Stop guessing. Stop hoping. Start measuring. Start evaluating. Now, let's talk about the fear that often comes with evaluating progress, the fear of failure. Many people avoid self-reflection because they don't want to face the reality that they haven't made as much progress as they thought. But here's the truth. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply feedback. It's information. Every setback, every mistake, every moment of doubt is an opportunity to learn and adjust. When you evaluate your progress with this mindset, you disarm the fear of failure. You realize that failure isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Because when you embrace failure, you embrace growth. But you can't just look at the setbacks. You also have to acknowledge your wins. Too often, we're so focused on what's not working that we forget to celebrate what is. Recognizing progress, no matter how small, is a key part of maintaining motivation and momentum. When you evaluate consistently, you learn to celebrate your achievements, even the small ones, because they are all part of the bigger picture. The journey towards success is made up of many little victories. If you're not taking time to reflect on those, you'll miss the joy of the process. So, how do you consistently evaluate your progress? It starts with setting clear, measurable goals. Vague goals don't give you anything to measure. You need goals that are specific, that have a clear starting point and end point, so you can track your progress along the way. Whether it's a daily, weekly, or monthly evaluation, you need to be able to look at your actions and ask yourself, did this move me closer to my goal? This could be as simple as journaling your thoughts at the end of the day, or reviewing your calendar every week. It could be setting a time every month to reflect on the progress you've made and adjusting your goals if necessary. It could also mean tracking key metrics, like productivity levels or fitness goals, depending on your journey. The more specific you can be, the better. But the key is consistency. And don't forget to reflect on your mindset. Your mental and emotional state plays a huge role in your ability to stay on track. Are you feeling motivated? Are you in alignment with your purpose? Do you feel strong, focused, and energized? These internal evaluations are just as important as the external ones. Your mindset is the foundation that supports your progress. If your mind isn't in the right place, No amount of action will get you where you want to go. The power of evaluating your progress regularly lies in its ability to give you clarity. With that clarity, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop spinning your wheels and start taking focused strategic action. You begin to see patterns. You notice what works, what doesn't, and what you need to do to get where you want to be. You become intentional in your approach. But here's the catch: consistently evaluating your progress doesn't mean you have to obsess over every detail. It's about being honest with yourself and learning from what's working and what's not. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Keep it real. Here's a challenge for you starting today. Make evaluation a non-negotiable part of your journey. At the end of every week, take 15 minutes to reflect. Look at where you are. Ask yourself, am I on track? What worked this week? What didn't? How can I do better next week? This simple habit will change the trajectory of your journey. You'll start seeing progress where you didn't before. You'll have the clarity to adjust when things aren't working, and the motivation to keep going when they are. Don't let the days, the weeks, the months slip by without measuring your progress. If you want to win, you have to evaluate. If you want to reach your goals, you have to measure your success. So take the time to evaluate, to adjust, and to continue moving forward. Because when you evaluate your progress, you're not just tracking the journey, you're shaping it. Chapter 12. Take responsibility for your actions and decisions daily. The moment you take responsibility for your actions and decisions is the moment you reclaim your power. That's when you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the architect of your own life. But this is where most people falter. They wait for life to happen to them, for someone else to step in and fix things, or for the universe to simply align. And in that waiting, they miss the single most important truth that can transform their lives forever. You are the one who gets to decide how everything unfolds. Too many of us go through life like passengers in our own story. We let others steer, we make excuses for why we can't, and we keep waiting for the perfect conditions to show up before we finally take action. But here's the harsh truth. Waiting for perfect conditions will leave you stuck. Waiting for the right time is a trap. The right time is now. The right time is when you take full ownership of your actions, your choices, your outcomes. When you accept responsibility for everything that happens in your life, something incredible happens. You stop blaming your circumstances. You stop blaming other people. You stop making excuses. Instead, you shift the focus back to where it belongs, on you. And that's where the power lies. You see, responsibility isn't just about acknowledging the consequences of your actions. It's about understanding that everything in your life, your career, your relationships, your health, your finances, has been shaped by the choices you've made up until this point. The good, the bad, the failures, the successes, everything. And when you embrace that, you realize you have the ability to change the trajectory of your life with each decision you make from this moment forward. But here's the kicker. Owning your actions means owning your mistakes. It means you stop pretending that your past mistakes don't matter, or that they were someone else's fault. Your mistakes are your lessons. They are your teachers, not your prison. When you accept responsibility for your decisions, you free yourself from the past. You can finally let go of the shame, the guilt, the what-ifs. They no longer have the power to hold you back, because once you take full responsibility, you can make adjustments. You can choose again. You can create the future you desire. This mindset shift is the key to truly taking control of your life. It's a radical concept in a world that thrives on external validation, blame, and excuses. But when you understand that everything you've done has led you to this point, You can also understand that everything you choose from here on out will propel you forward or keep you stuck. You hold the key. Now, responsibility doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have to get everything right or always make the best decisions. Far from it. What it means is that you stop hiding behind excuses. You stop pretending that someone else is in charge of your life. You stop playing the victim and step into the role of the victor. Every decision you make from here on out is yours to own, and with that ownership comes the power to change your life. Think about it for a second. When was the last time you truly took responsibility for your actions? Not just the successes but the failures as well. When was the last time you stopped blaming someone else for where you are in life? That shift, that decision to stop making excuses and take full ownership, is a pivotal moment. It's the moment you stop being a passenger and start being the driver. You are no longer at the mercy of others or your circumstances. You get to steer the ship. The challenge here is not that you're going to screw up. It's that once you take responsibility, you have to show up every day. There's no going back. There's no "I'll try again tomorrow." It's about owning your actions on a daily basis. Each morning when you wake up, you make a choice. Will you own the day, or will you let it own you? Will you take responsibility for your actions and decisions, or will you let excuses drive your choices? This means you have to stop procrastinating. You have to stop putting things off for later, because later never comes. You have to stop waiting for the right moment to start. The right moment is now, and it's your responsibility to make today count. The decisions you make today will create the life you have tomorrow. Are you willing to own that? Let's talk about accountability, because once you take responsibility, you need to hold yourself accountable. It's one thing to admit that you are in charge of your life, but it's another to follow through on that claim. Accountability is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You can't just say you're responsible, you have to prove it with your actions. You have to show up every single day and do the work. You have to make the hard choices, even when you don't feel like it. You have to stay consistent, even when it's uncomfortable. Accountability is also about being real with yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and asking yourself tough questions. Did I show up today? Did I make the right choices? Did I give my best effort? And if the answer is no, then it's your responsibility to adjust, to change your behavior, and to do better tomorrow. This is where most people fall short. They take responsibility for their success, but when things don't go their way, they look for someone to blame. They point the finger at their boss, their circumstances, their bad luck. But true ownership means not just taking credit for the wins, but also owning the losses. It means saying, I didn't do my best today, and I will learn from it. I will do better tomorrow. Taking responsibility isn't always easy. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it requires admitting that you were wrong. But that's where the growth happens. That's where you level up. Because every time you own your actions, you are one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. And this extends to your decisions. Every decision you make is a reflection of your commitment to your journey. If you're not making decisions that align with your goals, then you're making decisions that will pull you away from your dreams. This is where the rubber meets the road. You can't afford to make decisions based on fear, comfort, or convenience. You need to make decisions based on your vision. You need to make decisions that will move you closer to the life you want to live. So how do you start taking responsibility on a daily basis? It starts with being conscious of the choices you make. The small ones matter just as much as the big ones. If you want to change your life, you need to change your habits. You need to change the way you think, the way you act, and the way you show up in the world. Every day is an opportunity to make the right choice. Every decision is a chance to prove to yourself that you are in control. The key to taking responsibility is consistency. You can't take responsibility one day and then fall back into old habits the next. You need to make it a habit, a daily practice. Own your actions, own your decisions, and own your outcomes. When you make this your mindset, your life will start to change. Take a moment right now and think about the areas of your life where you've been avoiding responsibility. Maybe it's your finances, your health, or your relationships. Wherever it is, own it now. Stop running. Stop hiding. Take responsibility. The moment you do, your power to create change will be unleashed, and there's no limit to what you can accomplish, because you are the one in charge. Chapter 13. Train your mind to think positively and optimistically. You have the power to shape your entire reality by the way you think. What if I told you that everything you've ever dreamed of achieving begins in the depths of your mind? The very thoughts you have today will become the experiences you face tomorrow. Most people go through life unaware of this simple truth, allowing negative thoughts, doubt, and fear to dictate their outcomes. But what if you could train your mind to think positively and optimistically? What if you could transform your mindset and, in turn, transform your life? The way you think shapes the way you feel, and the way you feel shapes the actions you take. In this cycle, your mind is the driving force. If your thoughts are rooted in negativity, you will feel unmotivated, stuck, and unsure. But if you train your mind to think positively, you will feel empowered, resilient, and motivated to take action. The choice is yours. Think about the most successful, fulfilled people in the world. What do they all have in common? They don't let their circumstances define them. They define their circumstances. They see opportunity in every challenge, growth in every setback, and hope in every difficult situation. They've mastered the art of thinking optimistically, and it's the reason they stand out. The moment you train your mind to see the positive side of every situation, you unlock an incredible power to change your reality. It's important to understand that positivity isn't about ignoring life's difficulties or pretending that everything is perfect. It's not about putting on rose-colored glasses and pretending that challenges don't exist. Positivity is about acknowledging the reality of life while choosing to focus on solutions, hope, and the opportunities hidden within every struggle. It's about focusing on what you can control and not letting the things you can't control steal your peace or your momentum. When you train your mind to think positively, you are essentially reprogramming your brain. Your brain is wired to focus on threats, dangers, and obstacles. This is a survival mechanism that helped our ancestors navigate a dangerous world. But in today's world, this survival instinct can become a hindrance. We often find ourselves dwelling on worst-case scenarios, focusing on everything that could go wrong, and overlooking all that could go right. This is where the training comes in. Positivity doesn't happen by accident, it's a habit. And just like any other habit, it requires intention, practice, and persistence. You can't expect to think positively once in a while and see profound changes in your life. You have to make positivity a daily practice. It starts with awareness, becoming aware of the thoughts you're thinking. Are they thoughts that empower you, or are they thoughts that keep you stuck in fear and doubt? The first step to thinking positively is identifying negative thought patterns. You need to become the observer of your own mind. Notice when you start thinking thoughts that hold you back. These could be thoughts of fear, doubt, or limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough, I'll never be successful, or I'm too old to change. These are the thoughts that keep you from reaching your true potential. But once you identify them, you can challenge them. You can replace them with thoughts that empower you. The second step is to practice gratitude. When you focus on what you are grateful for, your mind naturally shifts toward positive thoughts. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you can use to train your mind. It forces you to look for the good, even in difficult situations. No matter how hard life gets, there is always something to be grateful for. Whether it's your health, your family, the roof over your head, or the opportunities that lie ahead, gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. And when you focus on what's right, more of it starts showing up in your life. But positivity doesn't end with gratitude. It requires constant reinforcement. This is where daily affirmations come in. Affirmations are positive, empowering statements that you repeat to yourself regularly to reprogram your subconscious mind. I am capable of achieving my goals. I am worthy of success. I am resilient and can handle anything that comes my way. These are the kinds of affirmations that build a foundation of optimism and self-belief. The more you repeat them, the more your mind begins to accept them as truth. And the more your mind accepts these thoughts as truth, the more your actions will align with them. Visualization is another powerful tool in training your mind. When you visualize success, your brain starts to believe that success is possible for you. Imagine yourself achieving your goals, living the life you desire, and overcoming obstacles with confidence. The more vividly you can imagine this, the more your subconscious mind will work to make it a reality. However, the key to positive thinking isn't just in individual practices, it's in your ability to see the world through a positive lens, even when things don't go your way. Life will throw curveballs at you. It's inevitable. But when you train your mind to focus on the lessons in every experience, you gain the ability to rise above adversity. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. Every setback is a chance to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Positive thinking is not about ignoring the reality of setbacks. It's about choosing to see them as temporary, surmountable obstacles rather than insurmountable barriers. When things go wrong, you can ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me? How can I grow from this? This mindset transforms even the most difficult situations into valuable experiences. Optimism isn't just a mindset, it's a way of life. It's a habit that once developed, becomes a natural part of who you are. It's about looking for the good in everything. It's about understanding that the best is always yet to come, even when you don't see it immediately. Optimism is the belief that things will work out in the end, and that belief alone has the power to create the outcomes you desire. But to fully embrace this mindset, you have to commit to training your mind every single day. It's not enough to do this once in a while. You must practice positivity like you would practice any other skill. Whether it's through gratitude, affirmations, visualization, or simply choosing to focus on the good in every situation, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And remember, positivity isn't about ignoring the challenges you face. It's about deciding to focus on solutions instead of problems. It's about finding strength in adversity, power in setbacks, and hope in the midst of struggle. Optimism is the fuel that will propel you toward your goals, even when the road gets tough. So commit to thinking positively. Start today, right now. Choose to train your mind to think in ways that empower you. Practice gratitude, repeat your affirmations, visualize your success, and embrace the challenges that come your way with an optimistic heart. You have the power to transform your life by changing the way you think. The choice is yours, and today is the perfect day to begin. Chapter 14. Push through fear to achieve greater success each day. Fear doesn't control you, it only controls you if you let it. And every single day you face a choice. Will you let fear dictate your actions, or will you push through it to unlock a new level of success? What would your life look like if you took that first step, even when fear was screaming in your ear to turn back? The most successful people didn't eliminate fear. They embraced it, fought it, and used it as fuel to power their growth. And today you're going to learn how to do the same. The truth is, fear is not the enemy. It's your response to fear that defines who you become. Fear can be a signal, an indicator that you are about to step outside your comfort zone, where growth lives. Every time you feel fear, you are standing at the edge of something great, an opportunity to push past your limits and expand what's possible for you. The key to overcoming fear is understanding it. Fear isn't something to run from or avoid. Fear is a messenger telling you that you are on the verge of something important, something that could lead you toward your next breakthrough. Fear only has power when you let it control your decisions, but when you decide to act despite the fear, that's when you take back your power. That's when you choose to rewrite the narrative. Think about all the times you've let fear hold you back. Maybe it's the fear of failure that kept you from starting a new project, or perhaps it's the fear of judgment that kept you from speaking your truth. Every time you chose to let fear keep you where you were, you missed out on an opportunity to grow. But imagine what would happen if you decided to face that fear head-on every time. What could you achieve? How much stronger would you become? The first thing to understand about fear is that it is natural. It's a biological reaction that has been hardwired into us for survival. In the past, fear kept us alive by warning us of danger. But in today's world, fear often arises when we are about to step into the unknown, take on a new challenge, or push beyond what feels comfortable. The unknown feels threatening to our minds, even though it is where growth happens. Fear is simply your mind's way of protecting you, even when there is no real danger. The second thing to remember is that fear doesn't go away. It's a part of being human. But the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is how they respond to fear. You have two choices. You can let fear control you, or you can choose to step into the fear and take action anyway. Every time you choose to act in the face of fear, you break down a wall that once held you back. The more you push through, the more you realize that fear isn't as powerful as it seemed. It's all an illusion. So, how do you push through fear? The first step is to acknowledge it. You can't conquer what you don't acknowledge. When you feel that familiar knot in your stomach or that tightness in your chest, don't ignore it. Instead, pause and recognize what's happening. Understand that fear is showing up because you're about to take a step towards something bigger, something better. Accept the fear, but don't let it stop you. The next step is to change the story you tell yourself. Fear thrives on uncertainty. It feeds on your doubts, your insecurities, and your worries about the future. But you can choose to change the narrative. Instead of saying, "I'm scared I'll fail," say, "I'm scared, but I know I can handle whatever happens." Fear loses its grip when you reframe it as a challenge rather than a threat. When you see fear as a signal that you're on the edge of growth, it becomes a powerful motivator, not something that holds you back. The third step is to take small actions in the face of fear. You don't need to tackle the entire mountain in one go. Start with small steps. If you're afraid of speaking in public, start by talking to a small group of friends. If you're afraid of failure in business, start by taking one small action, making one phone call, sending one email, or doing one task that moves you forward. The more you practice acting in the face of fear, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. Fear doesn't stand a chance when you take consistent small steps toward your goals. Another powerful strategy is visualization. Before you face a fearful situation, take a moment to visualize yourself succeeding. Imagine yourself stepping into that meeting, making that speech, or starting that new project with confidence and clarity. Picture yourself handling the fear and moving forward with strength. When you vividly imagine success, your brain becomes more confident and less fearful when you're actually in the situation. This is a powerful way to mentally rehearse success and train your mind to respond to fear with confidence. But perhaps the most important step in pushing through fear is to embrace the discomfort. Fear and discomfort go hand in hand. The more you try to avoid fear, the more it will control you. But the more you embrace discomfort, the more your resilience will grow. When you choose to step into fear, you are choosing to become the person you've always wanted to be. It's in those moments of discomfort that you discover what you're truly made of. And here's the thing, the more you push through fear, the easier it becomes. Fear doesn't disappear, but your ability to handle it strengthens. With every challenge you face, you build a muscle of courage and confidence. You learn that fear is not the enemy. The enemy is inaction. Fear is only powerful when you don't do anything about it. Consider the greatest achievers in history, whether it's an athlete who pushed through the fear of injury, a business person who risked everything to follow their dreams, or an artist who stepped into the unknown to create something beautiful. None of them were without fear, but they learned to act despite it, and in doing so they unlocked the doors to their success. The most powerful thing you can do is act even when you're afraid. The more you do it, the more you break free from the chains of fear and unlock your full potential. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. And every time you face your fear, you send a message to yourself that you are stronger, more capable, and more determined than you ever realized. The key to overcoming fear is to push through it each day, one step at a time. Embrace it, acknowledge it, and use it as fuel to move forward. Every time you choose action over inaction, fear overcomes you just a little bit more. The person you are becoming is stronger, braver, and more resilient with every challenge you face. So take that first step. Push through the fear and watch how you transform your life. Fear may be a constant companion, but you have the power to rise above it. The more you push through, the more you'll achieve. The more you push through, the more you'll become the person you were always meant to be. Chapter 15. Reflect regularly to identify areas for improvement. You cannot improve what you don't measure. The journey to becoming your best self begins when you decide to reflect on where you are, honestly assess what's working, and make deliberate decisions to improve every single day. The truth is, growth is not automatic. It doesn't happen by chance. It happens through deliberate reflection, a powerful practice that unlocks the door to your potential. Have you ever found yourself stuck, unsure of how to get to the next level? You're not alone. So many people reach a point in their lives where they feel like they've hit a wall, unable to make any more progress. It's frustrating. It's disheartening. But there's one key habit that can change everything. Reflection. When you commit to looking back, to evaluating your progress, you gain clarity on what's working, and more importantly, what's not. Reflection is your tool for self-awareness. It's the mirror that shows you who you truly are, not just who you think you are. Imagine for a moment that you're driving a car without a rear-view mirror. How could you navigate the road? Sure, you can keep moving forward, but what about obstacles behind you? What about blind spots? Reflection serves as your rear-view mirror in life, helping you to spot potential hazards, missed opportunities, and areas where you've been blindly moving without taking control. It allows you to course correct before you make irreversible mistakes. Reflection is not about beating yourself up for mistakes, but rather about seeing each moment for what it is, a chance to grow, a chance to evolve. Every mistake you've made has taught you something invaluable. Every success you've celebrated has shown you what you're capable of. But none of this matters unless you take the time to process it, to digest the lessons, and understand how to move forward more effectively. The truth is, many people go through life unaware of their own patterns. They repeat the same mistakes, chase after the same distractions, and wonder why they're not moving forward. It's because they're not taking time to reflect. Without reflection, we remain in a cycle of automatic behaviors, unaware of the choices we're making and how they affect our future. When you commit to reflection, you break free from that cycle. You begin to ask the right questions. What worked? What didn't? What could I have done differently? Where am I wasting time? And where am I investing in my future? These questions, though simple, are incredibly powerful. They force you to stop and think. They force you to step out of autopilot and into conscious living. The more often you reflect, the clearer your path becomes, and the more deliberate your actions become. But reflection isn't just about looking back. It's about using the past to shape your future. Reflection is a powerful tool for forward momentum, not just a tool for looking at what's already happened. When you reflect, you gain clarity on where you need to improve, where your strengths lie, and where you've been holding yourself back. You also get a glimpse into the future. You can begin to forecast what your life will look like if you continue on the same path, or make the necessary changes today. One of the most powerful things reflection does is help you identify patterns. Patterns are the key to transformation. If you find yourself repeatedly falling into the same trap, reflecting allows you to stop and ask why. Why do you keep repeating this behavior? What is driving it? Often we're unaware of the unconscious beliefs and habits that shape our actions, but reflection brings those to the surface. By understanding these patterns, you can make deliberate decisions to change them. For example, think about the times when you've procrastinated. If you take a moment to reflect on why you put things off, you might realize that it's not because of laziness, but because of fear of failure, fear of judgment. Reflection lets you tap into these underlying fears so you can address them head-on and stop letting them control your actions. Reflection is also the foundation of accountability. When you reflect, you become your own coach. You assess your progress, set new goals, and challenge yourself to grow. You stop waiting for someone else to push you, and you take responsibility for your own journey. This kind of personal accountability is the difference between people who make progress and people who stay stuck. Let's talk about how to reflect effectively. First, you need to create the space for it. You can't reflect if you're constantly rushing from one task to the next. You need to carve out time in your schedule to pause, breathe, and evaluate. It doesn't have to be hours of deep introspection, though that can help at times. It can be as simple as setting aside 10 minutes at the end of each day to ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have done better? Or every week you might take a few minutes to assess how you performed against your goals and what adjustments are needed. It's crucial that you're honest during this process. Real reflection requires honesty. Don't sugarcoat things to make yourself feel better. Be raw. Be real. Look at the areas where you failed and look at the areas where you succeeded. Celebrate the wins and face the losses with a mindset of learning. Reflection is not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself. Another powerful strategy is to journal your reflections. Writing down your thoughts helps solidify your understanding and allows you to track your progress over time. You can create a journal that focuses on different aspects of your life, your personal growth, your relationships, your career, your health, or any area where you want to improve. Over time, you'll start to see trends, patterns, and growth that might not be apparent in the day-to-day grind. Once you've reflected and gathered the data, it's time to act. Reflection without action is wasted energy. Use the insights you gain to shape your next steps. If you've identified an area where you're lacking, take deliberate action to improve. If you've identified something that's working well, double down on it. Your reflections give you the roadmap to keep moving forward, but only if you use that map to guide your journey. But don't just reflect on the past, set your sights on the future as well. Reflection is about creating clarity in both your present and your future. Use your reflections to ask yourself, where do I want to be in 6 months? In a year? What does my ideal life look like? And what actions do I need to take to get there? By visualizing your future and aligning your actions with that vision, you increase your chances of success dramatically. Finally, be patient with yourself. Reflection isn't a one-time thing, it's an ongoing process. You won't become a master overnight. But every time you take the time to reflect, you're strengthening your ability to grow, evolve, and get closer to the person you want to become. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about small, consistent changes that add up over time. Reflection is the foundation of personal growth. It's your opportunity to look at yourself with a clear, honest eye and make the adjustments needed to move forward. By regularly reflecting on your actions, decisions, and progress, you unlock the power to continuously improve. You begin to see patterns that hold you back, opportunities to take action, and areas for growth that you never even noticed before. Reflection isn't just a habit, it's a life-changing practice that ensures you keep moving toward your goals with purpose and clarity. So the next time you feel stuck or uncertain, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what's working? What's not? What can I do differently? In that moment of reflection, you hold the keys to your future success. Keep reflecting, keep growing, and keep striving toward the best version of yourself. Because the greatest breakthroughs don't come from waiting, they come from reflecting, learning, and taking action. Chapter 16. Stay accountable to your goals and results every day. You will never reach your full potential until you become fully accountable for your actions. The truth is, we all have goals. We all have dreams and aspirations, but most people fail to achieve them because they aren't holding themselves accountable every single day. They make excuses. They justify their lack of progress. But real success, true growth, comes from taking responsibility for every action, every decision, and every result, every day. Imagine for a moment that you've set a goal. Maybe it's to lose weight, write a book, or build a business. You're fired up, motivated, and ready to go. But days go by, and the excitement starts to fade. You skip a workout, miss a writing session, or delay a task that's critical for your success. Without accountability, you start to drift. And the drift is dangerous because it leads to a place where your goals become distant, your progress slows, and your dreams start to fade away. But what if you could change that? What if you could stay focused, energized, and driven toward your goals every single day? What if you could harness the power of daily accountability to ensure you never lose sight of your vision? It's not just a wishful thinking. It's a practice that, once adopted, has the potential to completely transform your life. Accountability isn't just about checking off tasks. It's about taking full ownership of your journey. It's about waking up every day with a deep sense of responsibility to your goals. It's not about having someone else watch over you or force you to act. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard and committing to yourself no matter what. The most successful people in the world don't just have goals, they are accountable to them. They set a standard for themselves and hold themselves to it every single day. They understand that success doesn't come from motivation alone, it comes from consistent disciplined action. Motivation can get you started, but accountability is what keeps you going when the motivation fades. Think about a time when you set a goal and were fully committed to it. When you held yourself accountable and didn't allow anything to stand in your way. That feeling of accomplishment when you hit a milestone, when you crossed the finish line, there's nothing quite like it. That's the power of accountability. But here's the kicker. Accountability doesn't just keep you on track, it makes you better. It pushes you beyond what you thought was possible. Accountability forces you to step up, to level up your effort, to push harder, and to be better than yesterday. It's the difference between saying, "I'll try," and saying, "I'll do it no matter what." One of the most powerful tools you can use to stay accountable is writing down your goals. When you write them down, they become real. They become more than just a thought floating around in your head. They are tangible, concrete, and real. And once they're real, you have a responsibility to follow through. Every time you look at those goals, they remind you of your commitment, your purpose, and your why. But writing them down is just the start. You have to act on them. Accountability also means tracking your progress every day. Don't let your goals exist in a vacuum. Break them down into smaller, actionable tasks and monitor your progress daily. Every day, ask yourself, what did I do today to move closer to my goal? How did I hold myself accountable? Did I take the necessary steps? Tracking isn't just about measuring progress, it's about creating momentum. Momentum is what keeps you going. The more you track, the more you see progress, and the more you feel empowered to keep moving forward. But let's be real for a second. Life is full of distractions. There are a million things pulling at your attention every day. But here's the thing, every time you let something take you off track, you're making a choice. You're choosing to let distractions control your progress, to let laziness or fear dictate your results. When you're accountable to your goals, you take responsibility for those choices. You decide what gets your time and attention. Accountability also means learning to say no. You can't say yes to everything and still expect to achieve your goals. When you're truly accountable to your vision, you protect your time and energy. You become fiercely protective of what you allow into your life. That means saying no to things that don't align with your goals, to people who drain your energy, and to distractions that steal your focus. You become the gatekeeper of your own time. Another aspect of accountability is creating systems that support your goals. Accountability is not just about willpower, it's about creating a structure that makes success inevitable. If you want to write a book, set aside time every day to write. If you want to get in shape, create a workout schedule that becomes a non-negotiable part of your day. Systems allow you to take action without relying on motivation or willpower alone. They become habits, and once something becomes a habit, it requires far less effort to maintain. But perhaps the most important aspect of accountability is learning to be your own coach. We've all had someone tell us what to do at some point in our lives, but the real power comes from being able to push yourself. When you are accountable to your own goals, you don't need someone else to tell you what needs to be done. You know what needs to be done, and you take action because it's in alignment with your vision. Every day, ask yourself, what would a person who is truly committed to their goals do today? How would they show up? What choices would they make? Your answers to these questions will guide you toward the actions that will lead to success. When you can hold yourself to that standard, you will become unstoppable. Now there will be days when you fall off track. It happens to everyone. But the key is not to let those moments define you. Accountability is about bouncing back, not about being perfect. It's about making a commitment to yourself, and when you slip up, getting back on track as quickly as possible. Don't waste time beating yourself up. Acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move forward with even more determination. The most powerful accountability tool of all is the simple act of daily reflection. Every night, take a few minutes to reflect on your day. Ask yourself, did I live up to my commitments today? Did I make progress? What could I have done better? Reflection allows you to adjust in real time. You can pinpoint areas where you're slipping and make the necessary changes before they become bigger problems. It's about staying in control of your journey, staying aligned with your goals, and staying true to the vision you've set for yourself. The truth is, no one else can hold you accountable the way you can. Accountability is a personal responsibility, a commitment to yourself. The moment you take full responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your results, everything changes. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for someone else to tell you what to do. You take the reins of your life and steer it towards success with confidence. And when you do this, when you commit to staying accountable to your goals, when you hold yourself to a higher standard every single day, you unlock your true potential. You begin to achieve things you never thought possible. The path to success becomes clearer, the obstacles become smaller, and your vision becomes more achievable with each passing day. So I challenge you, commit to being accountable, own your goals, take responsibility for your actions, and show up every day, ready to do the work. The power to create the life you want is in your hands, so take full ownership of it. Stay accountable to your goals, and nothing will be able to stand in your way. Chapter 17. Strengthen your resolve to maintain focus under pressure. When everything is falling apart around you, how do you stay focused? How do you stay calm when the pressure is mounting, the clock is ticking, and every force seems aligned against you? It's easy to stay composed when life is smooth and the path ahead is clear, but real strength, true resolve, shows up when things get tough. True strength is found in how you maintain focus under pressure. And if you want to achieve extraordinary things, if you want to level up your life and create lasting success, then you must develop the ability to stay focused when the world is pushing back the hardest. Let's talk about pressure. It's something that we all face, and yet very few people know how to handle it. When pressure hits, most people buckle under the weight. They panic, they freeze, they get distracted, or they start making decisions based on fear. But there's a different way. There's a way to take that pressure, transform it, and turn it into fuel for success. The key is your resolve, your ability to stay focused, calm, and in control when the heat is on will determine whether you rise or fall. This is the challenge we all face, day in and day out. The external world is constantly trying to throw us off course. Distractions, deadlines, expectations, obstacles, doubts, these are the forces we fight against every day. But the difference between those who succeed and those who falter isn't the presence of pressure, it's how they respond to it. The more pressure you experience, the greater your opportunity to strengthen your resolve. So, how do you maintain focus under pressure? How do you stop the chaos from clouding your mind, from steering you off track, from making you forget why you're doing what you're doing in the first place? The answer lies in mental discipline. It's the ability to maintain clarity and focus, no matter what's happening around you. But mental discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build one step at a time. It's developed through practice, through resilience, and through an unwavering commitment to your goals. When pressure begins to mount, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. You might feel like everything is out of control, like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But here's the truth: pressure doesn't have to overwhelm you. Pressure only becomes overwhelming when you don't have the tools or the mindset to deal with it. So, the first step in developing your resolve under pressure is to recognize that pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is a sign that you're in the game. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself towards something bigger, something better. Now, the next step is to develop the ability to shift your focus when the pressure starts to mount. Focus is a skill you can strengthen. It's like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. When pressure is rising, the first thing you need to do is ground yourself. Take a deep breath and remember why you're doing what you're doing. When everything feels chaotic, reconnect with your mission. Why did you start? What are you working toward? Reminding yourself of your purpose will bring clarity in the storm. When you have a clear sense of purpose, the pressure becomes just another part of the process, an obstacle to push through rather than something to fear. Next, it's crucial to break things down into smaller, manageable tasks. When the pressure is on, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the enormity of the challenge. But the key to staying focused is to take it one step at a time. Focus on what's in front of you, not what's looming in the distance. By focusing on smaller tasks, you remove the sense of chaos and bring order to the situation. This is where mental discipline comes into play. Instead of letting your mind race through 1,000 thoughts, you train it to stay locked in on the task at hand. Another powerful tool in maintaining focus under pressure is self-talk. The way you talk to yourself in moments of pressure has a profound impact on how you perform. When the heat is on, most people start to tell themselves things like "I can't handle this" or "this is too much." But the way you speak to yourself in those moments can either break you or build you up. When the pressure hits, you need to have a mental script that you repeat. Speak words of empowerment. Remind yourself that you are capable, that you've faced challenges before and overcome them. Tell yourself that this is just another obstacle, and you're going to push through it. Another key to strengthening your resolve under pressure is keeping a calm, centered state. It's easy to get flustered when things aren't going as planned, but that's when your ability to remain calm becomes your most powerful asset. The calmer you are, the clearer your thoughts will be. When you're clear-headed, you can make better decisions, solve problems faster, and keep moving forward. When pressure rises, your calmness should rise with it. A lot of people crumble under pressure because they don't trust their own abilities. They let fear and doubt take over, and it clouds their judgment. The key to maintaining focus under pressure is trust. Trust in yourself, in your abilities, and in the process you've built. Every time you make it through a stressful situation and come out the other side stronger, you build trust in yourself. That trust becomes your shield against the weight of pressure. Visualizing success is another powerful tool to help you stay focused when everything is going wrong. When you're facing pressure, take a moment to visualize your success. See yourself coming out on top. See yourself overcoming the obstacles in front of you. Visualization allows you to create a mental image of success, which anchors you and keeps you moving forward. Now, it's important to remember that pressure is not something you can always control. Sometimes, the circumstances surrounding you are beyond your control. But what you can control is your reaction. You can control how you respond to the pressure. The more you practice responding with focus and resolve, the better you get at it. Over time, you'll find that pressure doesn't have the same hold on you. It doesn't cause the panic or the distraction it once did. Instead, it becomes a signal to rise, to push harder, to dig deeper. In moments of pressure, there's also something to be said for embracing discomfort. The more you get used to feeling uncomfortable, the more you can handle. Pressure brings discomfort, but discomfort is the breeding ground for growth. The more you practice thriving in discomfort, the stronger you become. In fact, the greatest breakthroughs often happen when you're under the most pressure. Embrace it, don't shy away from it. Use pressure as a tool to elevate your game. And finally, don't forget the importance of rest. It might sound counterintuitive when you're under pressure, but taking time to recharge is vital. When you give yourself the space to rest and recover, you come back stronger, more focused, and more able to handle pressure. It's about balance. Pressure is a part of life, but so is rest. Learning to balance the two is the secret to sustaining your ability to perform under pressure in the long run. When you develop the ability to maintain focus under pressure, you unlock your true potential. You become unstoppable. The pressure that once seemed overwhelming becomes the driving force behind your success. Instead of letting pressure define you, you define it. You turn it into fuel. Your ability to stay calm, stay focused, and stay relentless when the pressure is on is what will set you apart from the rest. So, the next time you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, remember this: you are stronger than you think. Pressure is just the test you need to grow. Stay focused, stay determined, and never let pressure take you off course. Your resolve is your greatest asset. Use it, and success will follow. Chapter 18. Challenge your limits to keep growing every single day. Do you want to know the secret to unlocking the greatest version of yourself? It's simple. Challenge your limits every single day. Because your limits, as much as they may feel like barriers, are actually just signposts showing you where your true potential lies. The moment you push against them is the moment you unlock a new level of strength, resilience, and growth. So the question is, are you ready to face those limits head-on and break through them? Life has a way of testing us. It throws challenges at us, demands more than we think we can give, and constantly asks us to step outside our comfort zone. And yet, for so many of us, the instinct is to pull back, to retreat to what's familiar and safe. But here's the truth. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. It's only by challenging your limits that you will grow, evolve, and reach your true potential. And here's what many don't realize. Those limits are not fixed. They expand every time you challenge them. So if you want to keep growing, if you want to break free from the limitations that hold you back, you have to make the conscious decision every single day to push beyond what you think is possible. It's easy to believe that growth happens in leaps and bounds, that one breakthrough moment will change everything. But the reality is different. Growth happens in the small moments, in the daily choices to push yourself further, to do the thing you think you can't do, to face the fear that's holding you back, and to take that next step even when it seems impossible. That's the essence of growth. It's a constant challenge. And as you face those challenges and come out on the other side, you will realize that your capacity for growth is limitless. Let's talk about limits for a moment. What are they? Limits are often the boundaries we've set for ourselves, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. They're the stories we tell ourselves about what we can and can't do. They are the beliefs, the fears, and the doubts that whisper in our ears when we try to push beyond our comfort zones. Limits are the voice that tells us, "You've done enough. This is too much." But limits are not real. They are nothing more than perceptions. They're a product of our conditioning, our past experiences, and our fears. And here's the most powerful realization you can have. You can change your limits, you can challenge them, and most importantly, you can break through them. Every time you push yourself past a limit, you create a new threshold for yourself. What was once impossible becomes possible. The more you challenge your limits, the more you expand your capabilities, and the more you prove to yourself that you are capable of much more than you think. That's why it's so critical to keep challenging yourself. When you stop challenging your limits, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you stagnate. Stagnation is the enemy of progress. It's the silent killer of dreams, the thief of potential. You were not made to stand still. You were made to move forward, to evolve, and to conquer. Think about the areas of your life where you're not growing right now. What's holding you back? Is it fear, doubt, comfort? You have to be brutally honest with yourself and recognize what's standing in your way. Because the truth is, your potential is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. But to get there, you have to push yourself. You have to challenge your limits, day in and day out. Whether it's in your career, your health, your relationships, or your personal development, you have to take action that stretches you. You have to do the hard things. You have to face the things you don't want to face. And most importantly, you have to keep going, even when it feels uncomfortable. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. You don't have to be perfect to challenge your limits. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know exactly how it will turn out. All you need is the courage to take the next step. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. It can be a small, incremental action, just something that pushes you outside your current reality. Each time you make that choice to move beyond your comfort zone, you are expanding what you are capable of. And over time, those small steps add up. They compound, and before you know it, the limits you once believed were unbreakable will be shattered. So how do you actually begin to challenge your limits every single day? The first step is to embrace discomfort. This is crucial. Discomfort is the signal that you are on the verge of growth. Every time you feel discomfort, it's because you're pushing past a boundary and your brain is trying to pull you back into safety. But the reality is that growth does not happen in safety. It happens when you step into the unknown, when you face the fear, and when you embrace the challenge. Discomfort is your ally, not your enemy. Another key to challenging your limits is to set new standards for yourself. Often, our limits are self-imposed because we've set standards that are too low. We've gotten too comfortable, and we've stopped aiming higher. If you want to break through your limits, you need to raise your standards. You need to expect more from yourself, and then go after it. Whether it's setting new fitness goals, pursuing a bigger career milestone, or improving your relationships, raise your standards and challenge yourself to meet them. When you do, you'll find that your capacity for success grows exponentially. One of the most powerful ways to challenge your limits is to consistently step into the unknown. The unknown is where growth happens. It's where the magic is. You have to be willing to take risks. Whether it's trying something new, facing a fear, or going after an opportunity that feels out of your reach, you have to step into it. The unknown holds the opportunities that your current limits are blocking. Now there will be times when you fail. There will be times when you fall short, when things don't go as planned, when you feel like giving up. But that's exactly when you need to push harder. Failure is not the end, it's simply a part of the process. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to adjust your approach. The true measure of success is not how many times you win, but how many times you get back up after you fall. So when you face setbacks, Use them as fuel to keep moving forward. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the closer you get to breaking through your limits. Lastly, remember that growth is a lifelong process. You will never stop challenging your limits. Every time you reach one level, there's always a higher level waiting for you. Growth is infinite, and as long as you continue to challenge your limits, you will continue to evolve. So don't settle for where you are right now. Push yourself every single day. Challenge your limits. Step into discomfort. Fail, learn, and rise again. Keep moving forward, keep growing, and watch as your potential expands beyond anything you ever thought was possible. You have everything you need to create the life you've always dreamed of. Now it's time to challenge your limits and make it happen. The world needs you at your best. Don't hold back. Challenge your limits, grow every day, and never stop becoming the greatest version of yourself. Chapter 19. Commit to learning something new every day consistently. What if I told you that the key to unlocking your greatest potential is found in one simple, powerful habit? It's the commitment to learning something new every single day. No matter where you are in life, no matter what goals you're chasing or what challenges you're facing, committing to continuous learning will set you apart, fuel your growth, and unlock opportunities you never imagined possible. You might be thinking, how could something as simple as learning daily make such a big impact? Well, let's break it down. We live in a world that is evolving at an astonishing pace. Technology, knowledge, skills, industries, they're all changing faster than ever before. If you aren't actively learning, you're falling behind. You're allowing the world to move forward without you, and that's a dangerous place to be. But when you make the choice to learn something new every day, you become a force that cannot be ignored. You stay ahead of the curve, keep sharpening your mind, and position yourself as someone who is adaptable, resourceful, and always improving. Learning doesn't have to be grand or complicated. It doesn't always mean enrolling in expensive courses or attending seminars. It could be as simple as reading a book for 15 minutes, listening to a podcast while you drive, or watching a documentary on a topic you know little about. The power isn't in the size of the lesson, but in the consistency of the action. Commitment to learning is about building a habit of growth, one step at a time, every single day. Now, let's be real for a moment. Learning isn't always easy. It requires time, effort, and focus. It's much easier to settle into your comfort zone and rely on what you already know. But here's the thing. If you're not actively learning, you're stagnating. Your mind, your skills, your knowledge, they're all either growing or decaying. And if you're not putting in the effort to learn and evolve, you'll find yourself stuck. It's that simple. But here's where the power of consistency comes in. If you commit to learning just one new thing every day, you will accumulate an extraordinary amount of knowledge over time. It doesn't matter how small or seemingly insignificant the lesson is. Over time, all these tiny lessons add up, creating a massive foundation of knowledge that empowers you to handle more, do more, and achieve more than you ever thought possible. Think about it. If you learn just one new thing every day for a year, that's 365 new pieces of knowledge or skills that you've acquired. That's 365 more opportunities to improve your life, your business, your career, your relationships, and your future. What would your life look like a year from now if you took this commitment seriously? Imagine the confidence you would have, the value you could offer others, and the doors that would open to you. But here's where many people struggle. They start strong, but they don't finish. They'll read a few books, take a course, or listen to a podcast, but eventually they fall off track. The consistency is lost, and the momentum fades. This is the trap that too many people fall into. They want to grow, they want to improve, but they don't commit fully. They think one lesson is enough, and then they move on, never truly internalizing or applying what they've learned. The key is consistent application. You see, learning doesn't do anything for you unless you take what you learn and actually apply it. It's not enough to just fill your mind with knowledge. You have to implement what you learn into your daily life. That's when the real transformation happens. It's when you start using that knowledge to make better decisions, take smarter actions, and push yourself toward your goals with more clarity and purpose. One of the most powerful things you can do is create a routine around learning. Make it a part of your daily schedule, just like eating, sleeping, or exercising. Set aside time each day to learn, whether it's in the morning, during lunch, or before bed. Make it a non-negotiable part of your day. And the more you commit to learning, the easier it will become. It'll become second nature. Learning will no longer be something you try to do, but something you do without thinking about it. You don't have to learn about something that's directly related to your career or goals every day. Sometimes the most powerful lessons come from the most unexpected places. Learn about a new culture, a different perspective, or a historical event that you know nothing about. Read about someone who has lived a completely different life than you. Expose yourself to new ideas, new ways of thinking, and new concepts. Every time you do this, you broaden your mind and your understanding of the world around you. And that broader perspective will shape the way you approach challenges, opportunities, and relationships. Another key to making learning a daily habit is accountability. Find someone who can hold you accountable to your learning goals. Share your progress with them. Talk about what you're learning. By teaching others what you've learned, you not only reinforce the lesson for yourself, but also inspire others to commit to learning too. When you make your learning journey public, you add an extra layer of responsibility to yourself. Now you might be wondering, what if I don't feel motivated every day to learn? The truth is, motivation is fleeting. It's discipline that gets you through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. You won't always feel like learning, but if you've committed to it, you'll find a way to make it happen. When you're disciplined about learning, you push through those moments of doubt and fatigue, knowing that your growth is more important than any temporary discomfort. The beauty of committing to learning every day is that it builds momentum. Once you start, it's easier to keep going. Your mind becomes sharper, your ability to absorb information improves, and the desire to continue growing becomes a part of who you are. And here's the secret. The more you learn, the more confident you become. Knowledge breeds confidence. The more you know, the more you believe in your ability to solve problems, take risks, and navigate challenges. You'll feel more empowered to take action, to make decisions, and to move forward with clarity. Think about the people you admire most in life. They didn't get to where they are by sitting back and waiting for success to come to them. They committed to learning, day in and day out. They embraced growth as a lifelong journey. And that's why they're able to achieve the incredible things they do. If you want to be one of those people, you need to commit to learning too. It's that simple. The path to greatness is paved with continuous learning. So take a moment right now and think about how you can incorporate learning into your daily routine. How can you commit to expanding your mind every day? It doesn't matter if it's reading, listening, or engaging with new experiences. As long as you're actively learning, you're actively growing. And as long as you're growing, the world around you is going to take notice. Opportunities will start to open up. Doors will begin to unlock. You'll become a magnet for success. Don't wait for tomorrow to start. Start today. Commit to learning something new every day. And watch as your life begins to transform. Chapter 20. Celebrate small wins to keep motivation high every day. What if I told you that the key to maintaining unshakable motivation every single day lies in celebrating your smallest wins? It's true. We've all been told that we need massive victories to feel accomplished, to stay motivated, and to push forward. But the truth is, the real secret to lasting success is found in the small victories you achieve every single day. Let me ask you this. How often do you find yourself waiting for the big breakthrough before you feel like you've truly succeeded? How many times have you said, "I'll celebrate when I reach my big goal, my dream job, or my ultimate level of success"? If that's your mindset, then let me tell you, you're missing out on the very fuel that will keep you going day after day. Small wins are the magic that propels you toward your bigger goals. They are the victories that remind you that progress is real, even when the road feels long. Here's the hard truth. You will never stay motivated by focusing solely on distant goals. Motivation wanes when you place all your hope in the end result. If your entire focus is on some distant prize, then every step you take toward it can feel like a grind. But here's where the shift happens. If you learn to celebrate the small victories along the way, you can keep your motivation high and your spirit charged, no matter how far off your big goals may seem. Let's put this into perspective. Think about the last time you accomplished something small, maybe even a task that seemed insignificant. How did you feel afterward? That sense of satisfaction, the pride of knowing you completed something, no matter how small, is exactly what keeps you moving forward. It's like a small spark that fuels your drive, pushing you to tackle the next task, to keep grinding, to keep going. Without those sparks, without those moments of joy, motivation slowly fades, and before you know it, you're burned out, or worse, ready to give up. Now it's important to understand that celebrating small wins doesn't mean you're complacent or satisfied with mediocrity. It means you're recognizing the progress you're making, no matter how small, and honoring that progress. Each time you complete a task, no matter how minor it seems, it's a step toward your larger vision. And by celebrating that step, you're reinforcing the belief that you're moving in the right direction. But let me give you a deeper insight. Celebrating your small wins isn't just about a momentary boost of happiness. It's about training your brain to focus on progress, not perfection. When you acknowledge even the smallest achievements, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical that strengthens motivation. It makes you want to keep going, to tackle the next challenge, and to keep putting in the effort. This positive reinforcement is crucial for long-term success. It's like building momentum, one small win at a time, until you reach the point where quitting is no longer an option. Many people think that in order to stay motivated, they need to wait for a huge breakthrough, a massive accomplishment, something grand and noticeable. But that's not how motivation works. You don't need a massive event to validate your progress. Your small wins, your daily victories, are more than enough. And when you take the time to acknowledge them, you create an emotional connection with the process of growth. That emotional connection becomes the foundation of your motivation. It becomes what pushes you forward, even when obstacles arise, even when you face setbacks. So how do you make this a habit? It all starts with developing a mindset of gratitude and awareness. Each day, take a moment to reflect on what you've accomplished, no matter how small it might seem. Maybe you finished a task on your to-do list, made a healthy meal, wrote a page in your journal, or pushed yourself to exercise for 15 minutes. Whatever it is, celebrate it. Recognize the effort it took, the discipline you applied, and the progress you made. This is your moment to pat yourself on the back, to feel proud of what you've done, and to remind yourself that you're on the right path. The key to this practice is consistency. It's not about celebrating every once in a while when things feel particularly good. It's about celebrating every single day. You can start small, just by acknowledging a few things you did well each day, and slowly, over time, it will become a natural part of your routine. And here's the beauty of it: as you continue to celebrate your progress, you'll start to see how much you've accomplished over time. Those small victories add up. They compound, they become your story of growth. And every time you celebrate, you're reinforcing the habit of persistence, of pushing forward, no matter how long the road seems. I know what some of you are thinking right now. What if my progress isn't enough? What if I'm not moving fast enough? What if I'm not seeing the results I want? Here's the truth: progress is progress, no matter how slow it feels. The fact that you're taking action, showing up, and doing the work is what matters most. You can't control how quickly things will come to fruition, but you can control the effort you put in. And by celebrating those small wins, you're reinforcing your commitment to the process, not the outcome. We all know how easy it is to get discouraged when things aren't moving as quickly as we'd like. But when you celebrate the little victories, you're shifting your focus from what's not working to what is. You start to see the steps you're taking, the things you've accomplished, and the forward momentum you've gained. This shift in focus is what keeps you motivated, even when the going gets tough. I want you to really think about something. What if every day was an opportunity to recognize and celebrate progress, no matter how small? What if instead of focusing on what you didn't do, you acknowledged what you did do? What would your mindset look like if every single day you were constantly aware of the victories you were stacking up, one after